Okay, are we live? I believe we're live. You can let me know if you hear me or anything. But I think we should be okay, which is good to hear. Okay. Yeah, let me know if people can hear me right now. I think we're good. Also see if anybody is watching this or not. It looks like it should be going. Okay. I don't know why that's not working, but okay. So, I don't know any of the new Pokemon, and I'm supposed to be tiering with Envy and Aim for Shuckle Premier League Season 2. I guess, I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but we are definitely going to have a Season 2. So, pretty excited about that. And I'm pretty excited about the lineup, but you guys will find out about that at some point. I was going to play through the DLC, but I didn't play through the first one. It kind of makes sense that you probably need to play the first one in order to play the second one. And I don't want to waste time playing the first DLC. Now, I'm sure it's good and all that, but yeah, I'm not here doing that. I don't have enough time. I gotta actually, learn what all these mons do. And I feel like for the last season, I could have been a little bit more prepared. So, we had the Shuckle Premier League Season 2. This is just basically a copy of Season 1 doc, and then untiered would be all of these Pokemon here. It's a lot, and I also know that a lot of Pokemon got new moves that were in the previous game, so I'm going to have to go through all that. I think my plan is to try to go through this untiered list as much as possible, see what they have. I can do that between... We got resources here, Pokemon Showdown, and then also on the Smogon forums, I'll probably look through all of this. This is people giving analysis for the returning Pokemon and the new Pokemon in the DLC. So we'll go alphabetical, see what's around, and then I can have a list. Alcremie, what I think my thoughts are on the new moves it gets. Maybe a prediction on how many points I think it'll be based on the tiering I had last season. It could change. I think Aim and I were talking about having some of the Pokemon at different point values than others. So, we'll see. But I think based on the guideline of where some of the Pokemon were tiered, I can basically predict where I think Alcremie makes sense in the game. So yeah, again, I think the stream is all good. I haven't done streaming too much, but I think everything looks good here. Okay, what's up, Danny Mac? All right, so Alcremie, yeah. So maybe I'll probably play the DLC at some point, but I gotta prioritize getting through all this. So, did anyone do an analysis for Alcremie? I'm guessing pretty... Nurse said, okay. So let's see. Let's see if this person gave anything good. It has Alluring Voice. Now, I was looking at one or two Pokemon. Alluring Voice, 100% confuse rate. It's probably just worse than Moonblast, which this Pokemon doesn't get. I don't think it got Moonblast, so I don't think that's that surprising. I read a couple of these sets. Some people gave more information than others. Draining Kiss, Stored Power, Recover, Calm Mind. No other thoughts here. There also might be a resource that has like all the moves that people got and such. Also, I might just lose internet connection, like up in like outside of Philly where I live. There's been like a lot of rain. I had power outages a couple times this morning, though it looks like it's not as bad out right now. It's still very windy, but not as bad. Acid Armor's cool. Alcremie seemed always neat. Basically, just like a worse Florges. Like you could just see those stats. They line up pretty well physically, but Florges just has a better special defense. Has Moonblast as well. It had Heal Bell in the past, which I think Alcremie also had. And there goes the train. I felt like Florges was just a better Alcremie, but Alcremie like kind of works. It also doesn't have Wish. Did it have Wish in the... I feel like Alcremie had Wish in the past. Maybe not. I don't think I'm going to be thinking too high of this Pokemon. No Toxic. Psyshock. Let's see. We can go by special moves. Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Psychic. Doesn't look like it has great coverage, especially if you're going to, like, you're still very weak to steals. Stored Power sets are cool with Acid Armor, Calm Mind. I think I had all this in previous games. I don't think I think too highly of Alcremie. Where do we have Florges? We had Florges at like 10 points, for instance. I could see it being in the like 5 to 7 point range. Maybe like 6 points. Like Gligar lost recovery, but still seems pretty decent. At least Alcremie has like recover, right? Yeah, it still has recover. So it can like do stuff on its own. I'm going to say Alcremie is probably like a 6 point mon. No Toxic. Kind of hurts it. But if you get like Acid Armors up and Calm Mind, I could see this one being a little bit annoying. And it has Draining Kiss. So Draining Kiss is a decent move. It's also probably pretty good with Terra, since you could actually give it cover to hit steel types and such. So I'm going to say a 6 point, maybe a 7 point mon. But I think Terra Axis, giving it like fire, I imagine like a fire is an okay typing here. Ground might be an okay typing for Terra Axis. I think that should be okay. What do we got next? Alolan Exeggutor. I don't know how to do it alphabetically here. We'll do it based on... Okay, we'll do it based on what's alphabetical on the dock. Then anyone doing an Alolan Exeggutor? Is that regular? That is regular. Or is it both? Doesn't look like it. Alright, I don't see any analysis here. Alolan Exeggutor, shoutouts to Jorge. Dragon Hammer, that was in the previous games. I might be missing stuff, and like again, let me know. I know there's a new Terra type Stellar. And that makes it makes your moves like neutral, always neutral hitting, I think it is. I know MV and AIM were talking about it. I was in call with them yesterday for at least a little bit. But I don't really know what Stellar does. You guys are going to have to let me know what it does. A cool special breaker with Trick Room. And it has pretty hard-hitting special moves. Draco Meteor, Leaf Storm, has Giga Grain for recovery. I imagine a lot of Pokemon would be quite good with Terra, but you could go like... I feel like Terra Water is probably okay. Since you're 4 times weak to Ice, you can remove that weakness there. That seems pretty decent. And you can also hit Fire types without having to go for like Draco Meteor and lowering your special attack. I guess Dragon Pulse is okay, but it's like that power difference, 85 to 130. It's pretty big. Has psychic coverage. That's okay. Curse sets might be interesting. The attack is not that bad. No, it's the physical coverage. Has grass. Trailblaze. Ooh, Trailblaze. Anything with Trailblaze definitely ups the value in my book. Knockoff. It has cool utility, and I imagine with Psychic Noise. That's a new move. For 2 turns, the target is prevented from healing. It seems okay. I imagine I'd probably want to run Psychic more of the times. It would depend on the matchup and such. Store Power is cool, but I don't believe you get any way to boost your attack outside of like a weakness policy or a Trailblaze. Curse, Calm Mind. Okay, it has Calm Mind. Exeggutor seems pretty cool. What is Dragon Cheer? Okay, critical hit ratio increase. That actually sounds pretty cool with it's an ally with a critical hit ratio. Well, that's that doesn't make it good. Otherwise, if it was like boosting your critical yourself, you just go Trick Room, boost your critical hit chance, and just go for Draco Meteors. That sounds pretty neat. I don't know where this Mon was tiered at before. I think I'd rate it pretty okay, though. I feel like special breakers can be kind of hard to find at times, especially in the lower tiers. Like, I would go with Exeggutor over our believe. Is there a grass type? Lilligant. Lilligant is probably it's 6 points because it can Terra. Exeggutor doesn't need to Terra. And I think Ludicolo is probably Villain, Toadsquirrel, like the ability to go in weather. I think they're a little higher because of that. Toadsquirrel, I think I'd probably say it's a little bit better. I think 6 points around that range is going to be fine. Nothing that's that different with Alolan Exeggutor. Araquanid. Let's see. There's Araquanid. Sticky Web it still has. And it's going to be bulkier than Rabombi. Obviously slower, but that's cool. Water Bubble. Yeah, that's fine. And it's slow. It looks like it's basically the same stuff as before. Dollar Store Dracovish. That's quite a way to describe it. Endeavor may be cool on lead, Sticky Web, Costat Berry sets, I suppose. Iron Defense is interesting with the high special defense it has in combination, Leech Life, but the attack is really low. It's not that viable. You're mainly picking this for a Sticky Web user. It looks like it's the same as before. I probably rate it lower than Rabombi. We probably have Rabombi around 11 points, I'm going to guess. I think probably around a 9-point value. Like a bulky Sticky Web user, I think that's fine. Does it stack with Terra? I am not sure. Oh my gosh. Who has their car? That's not great. Let me mute for a second until the car alarm goes off. This is like the third or fourth time in the last like 2 hours, by the way. Not great. So we'll mute you guys for a sec. Okay. It's at least off for now, so that's good. Yeah, I'm excited for Season 2, too. We haven't released the... You'll find out in a couple weeks who's going to be in the lineup, but it should be neat. Yeah, I don't know how Terra works with Araquanid. That might be something to try out later. That's a good call out. It would be pretty strong, because Water Bubble, twice the power. So yeah, I don't know how that would work out. I know, like, for adaptability, like, Bastiodon, like, loses power and adaptability, plus Terra. It doesn't make it as good, but I don't know how the Water Bubble interaction works. Maybe someone knows. I'm sure someone knows, but I don't know. This next Pokemon, I have no idea what it is. Archaludon. Archaludon. Okay, so this might be a little bit more interesting. So it is Steel Dragon, so same as what's it? Duraludon. That is in the game. Okay, that's good to know. Is it an evolution? So is Duraludon gonna be able to hold a Violet? Or is it not an evolution? Is it like a, or is this like a? It's not a Paradox Pokemon. At least it doesn't seem like it because it doesn't have the abilities of it. So can Duraludon run a Violet now? Because that would be pretty cool if it did. And I don't know how Violet stacks with Body Press. I don't think it gets a +1 boost, right? It is an evolution. Okay. So Duraludon does get a Violet? That's neat. Oh my gosh, it's going to go off again. I guess we'll power through it. Venusaur and Blastoise. I'll get to those Pokemon when I'm just going alphabetical here. I don't know if they got anything in particular that's that exciting. Does Blastoise still have Shell Smash? That's always cool. But it doesn't have Toxic, so it's a little harder to be defensive. But offensive Blastoise was always pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty loud. I'll mute again for a sec, so that way you guys don't have to hear it. Alright, hopefully they can get their shit together, whoever's outside. Alright, back to Archaludon. So Duraludon is a Violet, which is cool. That'll raise the viability. I don't remember how many points we had it at the past. And these stats here, they look pretty similar. So, not a noticeable difference. It's still the same speed. Not a lot, but stamina, that's quite powerful, especially with Body Press. And that's pretty good bulk, 90, 130. Like, Mudsteel is not going to be that close. 100, 100. So 90, 130 should be... Let's see. We can, like, get the difference there. Mudsteel, max defensive. Let's see. A close combat. Well, that's going to be super effective. What's like a neutral hit against both? Entei. Infernape. I'll go Infernape, Flare Blitz. So to Mudsdale, it does like 50%. Now, if we change those stats to 9130, so 44.8. There we go, 9130. Yeah, that's like a 10% more bulk or so. 12%, 15% more bulk. And it's going to be getting the stamina boost. 125 attack is actually higher for Mudsdale. But you're going to have higher special attack. So your special attack is getting higher. It's like special attacking plus body press. Seems pretty cool. What other moves does it have? Foul play, iron defense, so iron defense with stamina. Any other abilities? Sturdy's always fine. Stalwart probably means nothing in singles. Stealth Rock's always cool. No spikes. No toxic. Dragon Cheer doesn't do anything. Electroshock. So this is a new move. What gets Electroshock? Okay, it is only this Pokemon. Interesting. Raises special attack by 1 hits turn 2. So it's what's it? Meteor Beam does the same thing. So you could run and it's actually stronger and it's 100% accurate. That is pretty clutch. Now obvious like Meteor Beam can hit ground types. That's like the only better thing about it. And I guess with Electroshock, you would get the special attack boost. Because you get the special attack boost with Meteor Beam even if you miss. So I imagine with Electroshock, even if you hit a ground type with it, you get the special attack boost. So maybe like Power Herb, Electroshock, Meteor Beam. That seems pretty cool. Does it get any like speed boosting moves? Doesn't get Trailblaze. It can boost speed, it looks like. So like it's always going to be that speed. But Power Herb, that seems cool. No recovery. So you could run like Meteor Beam and recovery. Is there anything special in rain for Archaludon? Oh, it doesn't require charge in the rain? Wow, okay. Well, that seems pretty cool. You just continuously boost with Electroshock. And like even if like a ground type comes in, like Draco's could be doing a lot. Because a lot of ground types are usually physically defensive. And I guess you can run Power Herb Solar Beam too. If you predict the ground type to come in, you go for the Solar Beam first, and then go for the Electroshock later if you have a lot of bulk. That's probably not an actual set. Yeah, it seems like ground types are still going to be pretty cool, or pretty good against this. Like an AV ground type is probably alright. Aura Sphere to hit steals is always good. Or you just run Body Press with stamina. This seems pretty neat. I don't think it's going to be top tier. Swords Dance is always cool as well, and it has rocks. Let's see. Like all the poke, I imagine it's going to be like in this mid-tier range, 11 to 14. People had it at 16. It seems a little high. It feels like a 12-point Pokemon. What do we have here? Glamora? Like, what would I go at Glamora versus this? Glamora having the poison versatility is nice. Screamtail has a lot of versatility too, but it doesn't hit as hard. The fact that it like pairs with rain is probably a buff for sure. I think 12 points is probably fair value for this. Though if you get like a bunch of stamina boosts and you're like just fast to like max, I don't even know if like something like this is a viable spread or something like that. You just run like Body Press, Electroshock, Iron Defense. Like Iron Defense Body Press with stamina, you're like getting a ton of boost against fighting types. But like a Psychic type could kind of switch in on that, and like you're not doing a whole lot to it. Like Draco, but then you lower your special attack. Archaludon. I'm going to say it's going to be around like a 12-point mon. What's that move? Electroshock. Yeah, and Electroshot also is not spammable. Unless if you are in rain, which is cool. No one drafted a rain team last season, and I definitely was considering both in the draft and with my free agent changes to get rain, and I didn't go for it, but I feel like I should have. Bastiodon. I heard that I heard someone might be trying to get this round one. I have no idea. Let's see what this... I know this mon got some stuff. Body press, curse, it all looks normal. I guess the fact that Bastiodon, because it's going to be low enough to where you could change your Terra, that could make it super super versatile. Like you're 4 times weak to ground and you're 4 times weak to fighting. You could go like Ghost or Fairy. Water, like another defensive typing. That seems pretty cool with Bastiodon. Sturdy, soundproof. Body press. So body press off 168. Defense. That seems pretty scary. It seems very scary. Now Bastiodon was cool, and there was a stalled team in Generation 5 NU that had Bastiodon. It wasn't good outside of that. In any competitive sense that I remember, it was good on that specific team. We had I think it was the Stealth Rocker and the Roar Pokemon, so you could make sure like Duosion or Musharno wasn't going to sweep your team, at least initially. Iron Offense plus Body Press plus like Terra Fairy, or even just go Terra Fighting. That seems interesting there. Scorching Sands. I think it might have had that. No, I don't think it had that before. Terra Flying. Oh, yeah, Terra Flying makes a lot of sense. Because you take away your fighting and your ground resist. That's a good shout out, too. Trailblaze. So now we can sweep with speed. That sounds cool. Block. Always like a block Pokemon. Always like a Sturdy plus counter is always a cool combo. If you go boots, you could always guarantee that you're gonna like live at 100%, and then go for a counter against something that's physically based. Or you just go Metal Burst, and if it's against a special attacker, then you can also like guarantee decent damage. Like that's enough HP if you do that in your face against like a Ludicolo and Rain. And it goes for a Hydro Pump, and you just go for what's the move again? Metal Burst. You do 1.5 damage back, and that's enough damage to kill just about any Pokemon that's not Blissey. Okay. What do people think Bastiodon is going to go for? You think 4 points? You think it? I feel like it's going to be better than 4 points. Body Press plus Terra. That's probably the big draw there, right? Hard Press. Did I is that a new move? Yeah, there's new moves here that I should focus on, because sometimes they go in usually useless, but they're better than more 8 power, the more HP the target has left. Is Ring Out the same way? Ring Out. That's a move, right? But it's like the more HP. I feel like that's probably not a great move generally. Yeah, no recovery does make it kind of unfortunate. Has Meteor Beam. Can raise its 45 special attack or whatever it is. Nothing else. Yeah. I'm gonna say around like a 5-point mon. Like what do we have in comparison in 5-point? Colossal. That Colossal has a Crush Grip. That's probably, I think that's it. Crush Claw it's the move that lowers defense. Colossal's probably better. I like Girder more, Grafaiai, Sneasel. Lycanroc Midnight. Maybe it's comparable to that Pokemon. Maybe it is. Maybe 4/5 is probably the way to look at it. It was. I'm gonna say 5. I think it was probably like 2 points in previous generations, but it still doesn't hit that strong outside of body press. So if you have a body press resist, then you're not doing too much, and you can Iron Defense and boost that up. It's actually sounding not that bad. It's very slow. But you get rid of a lot of your weaknesses with however you want to Terra. It seems interesting. Well, we'll say like 5 points. It could even be 6. I could be convinced like 4 to 6 point range for Bastiodon. Plus Iron Defense. I had Iron Defense before, I'm pretty sure. Bayleaf. Is there a reason why it wouldn't be just 1 point? I guess Meganium is now in the game. We'll have to see how many points we make that Pokemon. I've seen Meganium for 1 point, honestly. Trailblaze. Swords Dance Trailblaze. That always seems pretty cool, right? Okay. Alright, what's the next Pokemon? Beldum. We're going to skip over that. Blossom. Yeah, if there's something that's probably very bad, like Beldum, there's no point. Blossom. You do have Terra, so immediately you would think like Terra Fire. That's probably pretty good with Blossom to hit steel types, and give yourself interesting resistances. It does get Quiver Dance, right? It has Quiver Dance. It's a little slow. And like Lilligant is probably just better, like generally. A little bit more bulk on Blossom's side, but less special attack. And like special attack of 90, even at +1, it's not doing a lot of damage. Moonblast is okay, but I don't know what extra. Like I guess it's good against fighting types. Doesn't add a whole lot. Strength Sap on like defensive triple axle. I don't think that really adds a whole lot, but that's something. Is that? I guess that's good against grass types, but you could just go Terra Fire anyway. I don't think you really ever would run triple axle, unless if you're like Envy, you might run it. Nothing in this region here. Yeah, it seems worse. Worse in Lilligant. Like maybe in like the 3 point range. But I think you would just get Lilligant anyway because it's faster and has more special attack. And if you really want to try to get a sweeper, I think you just prefer that. I guess you can also go. Well, they both go weather, but I think I would go Lilligant over Blossom here. Because you, for the most part, like Grass plus Fire is good enough coverage, or maybe something to hit Dragon types, which I guess you have Lowering Voice even. That's a new move. Blossom has the Moonblast, so you could go Quiver Dance, Giga Drain, Moonblast, Terra Blast, whatever. Even Terra Blast Fire in the sun might be okay. I could see 4 points, I guess. I think it had Quiver Dance in the past, but just having Terra Access. And again, we're going to be doing low Terra for next season. But I was also talking with Joey, and I think we might. Well, I think we're going to give some more broken Pokemon Terra Access, but we'll see. I think we could have a little bit more fun with what we allow and what we don't allow. But some Pokemon still felt really good from last season. Blastoise we looked over at least a little bit. It has fighting coverage, which I think I had all that before. I had Flip Turn last generation. Haze. It's always like a good defensive stalwart Pokemon. Shell Smash being cool. Wave Crash is cool. So let's see. Shell Smash plus Wave Crash. Can you go any other physical coverage? Earthquake, I guess. Double Edge. Earthquake. Water plus normal is usually pretty good coverage. Like back in the day, like Samurott would run Swords Dance, water coverage, Aqua Jet, and Return. You could also run Mega Horn, depending on what was popular. But it looks like it does a lot of the similar stuff. It's probably a Pokemon where it's probably like has a I think Terra would make it very good. It has Ice Spinner. Ice Spinner's cool. So you could definitely go physical or special. But I feel like if you're gonna go Shell Smash, I feel like Cloyster is usually the better bet. So you just have more powerful moves. A similar attack, but with Skill Link and all the coverage it has and hitting for 5 times, that just seems better. But Blastoise is an interesting Pokemon. It might be too good to Terra. It might not be. It's also just a decent, okay defensive Pokemon. Yeah, it could go physical or special, which Cloyster can do too. But Cloyster probably is better running physical because it has Icicle Spear, Rock Blast, Drill Run is a pretty good move on it. This is like a pretty good Cloyster set if you're just trying to sweep with Skilling. And then like White Herb. But Blastoise can run something similar, but I think it's going to be weaker. But it's bulkier. And it doesn't have Toxic. So that is fair. But I don't think we're going to allow Torterra to Terra next season. I probably would have gotten Torterra like round 3 or so if Danny didn't get it and then traded it to Joey. I think there's some collusion going on there, but I don't know. Blaziken next. I do think no Toxic is not great for it. Bulletproof, that would have been interesting because it is pretty like Blastoise versus Chestnut. It's a pretty similar design, like with the armor and all that. Blaziken. What do we think? I think I guess Blaziken you have to figure out if speed boost is allowed or not. I think speed boost is fine on Blaziken. So it would definitely obviously be tiered a lot different if it had speed boost or didn't have speed boost. Let's see what moves I got. I got Brave Bird, Bulk Up. I think I had Bulk Up before. You wouldn't really run it though. Last Resort. I don't know if I had it. That's not too relevant. A lot of similar stuff as before. Close Combat was nice. You don't have to rely on High Jump Kick. Has Focus Blast still. Yeah. Scorching Sands. Temper Flare. Power doubles if user's last move failed. That doesn't sound like it's that great of a move. But interesting. I guess if you go for High Jump Kick and miss into a Temper Flare, that's pretty powerful. But yeah, that seems pretty situational. I don't see anything else that Upper Hand, 100% flinch. Oh, that sounds really bad, right? Like is this a set? Just protect Upper Hand. Is it the same thing as like Fake Out? but it only works the first time, or does this like upper hand continuously work? So can you like protect, get your speed boost, and then just upper hand continuously and just always flinch? Is that how Blaziken works? Because that seems busted. I don't think that'd be allowed, but I don't know how upper hand works. Oh, it only works on priority moves. Oh, so that does nothing then. Okay, so nothing that special there. But Speed Boost Blaziken generally pretty good. I think it was even banned at some leagues. In some leagues in the past with Speed Boost. I think Speed Boost is okay. Like you can go Swords Dance, Protect, and like have decent coverage and get speed, but you're not killing a lot of stuff. And the bulk is pretty weak. And with your physical moves, you have Flare Blitz, which you're going to be lowering your HP even more, or Close Combat, which is going to be lowering your defenses, so you're easier to kill. So like, it's kind of tough for Blaziken to like super sweep teams even with Speed Boost. Like Galarian Zapdos, what do I think is better? Galarian Zapdos has U-turn, which is always nice and is faster. Blaziken can go like mixed. Infernape is probably a good comparison. Would I go Infernape or would I go Blaziken? I think Infernape we have probably a little bit too... Infernape's probably a 15-point mon. Maybe even 14. I think we put it a little bit higher just because it was like new toy syndrome and such. Blaziken is probably a little bit easier to try to sweep. I'd probably put Blaziken in the 16-point range. Maybe 17. I think anywhere around that is okay. But I don't think you should let a Blaziken really overwhelm you. It could go special, so that is it's probably at least a 16-point Pokemon, because you could definitely go special Blaziken sets. So it's going to be a little bit hard to necessarily know like how to completely counter it. But physical sets are probably better just because the moves are more accurate. But at least with Focus Blast, you don't lower your defenses or HP. But obviously you can miss. And same with Fire Blast. Okay, so interesting for Blaziken. That's a cool Pokemon. Blitzel, Brion, Bulbasaur. I think we can skip over all of those. Chinchou is always an interesting, like, 1-point Pokemon, but I assume it's not going to be anything higher than that. Cinccino. Now, if with, I imagine Loaded Dice plus, Technician is going to be pretty good. Let's see, with Technician, Tail Slap. So it's going to be hitting 4 times with Technician, Life Orb to, we'll go like Quagsire. So you'd have to be Loaded Dice. It's like Loaded Dice, Technician, 4 hits. It does like 40 to 49%. And you compare that to Skill Link. Life Orb, you're probably hitting... It's pretty comparable. If you go Technician, Loaded Dice, and you get 5 hits. So it's like a 50-50 chance. It's about the same damage output. But you're not taking Life Orb damage. You can change moves up. That seems pretty cool. Like, it's a general concept for Cinccino. Like, you could go Technician. Bullet Seed obviously would do a lot more damage to Quagsire. But that's just a comparison of the damage output. Gunk Shot is cool to hit fairy types. Okay. Oh, it got Tidy Up. And Triple Axle. That's pretty cool. So now you can boost your attack and boost your speed. With Technician. Or you just go... you go Skill Link, and then you go... you go Kingdra, Skill Link, Tidy Up, Triple Axle. And then you basically have like a little less than 50% chance to flinch as well. That sounds pretty neat. Still as you turn. This seems like a pretty good Pokemon. I feel like Cinccino is like in the 6 point, 7 point range. Tidy Up definitely makes it better. And I think the ability to go Loaded Dice Technician also seems pretty cool. It'll do like, yeah, it's about the same damage as Life Orb plus Skilling, but you don't take the 10% damage. 7, 8 point. I think it might even be higher than that. Cinccino, Tidy Up, plus Triple Axle. Loaded Dice is an option for it. I'd probably go in like the 9 point, 10 point range even. I don't know if it's going to be too good to Terra. Like, let's see here. Like, so you have Tauros versus Cinccino. I guess Toro, we have it that high because you can Terra with it. I think I would go Cinccino over Tauros, though Tauros is Intimidate, which is generally pretty cool. Flamigo, I would definitely go Cinccino over it. So Titan's kind of like not a great comparison. Like a fast Pokemon, Inteleon, probably around that range. I think I would probably go like 9, 10 points. And Terra Normal seems really good too. And Masshold probably, yeah, Masshold, like a comparison there is interesting. We probably have it around 10 points. Where is Masshold? We have it at 8 point. Okay. Yeah, so what would be a comparison? Masshold doesn't have coverage to hit. It has low kick. So that's like okay coverage. But Population Bomb is super strong, and like that attack, 75 versus 95 is a pretty decent difference. And this is also a base 180 attack. And how would that work with Loaded Dice with Technician? So it's like, what is it? It's like base 20, base 40, base 60 power. So does Triple Axle make that like base 40, base 80? Like, how strong is Triple Axle? With Triple Axle. Oh, it's saying it's not that hard of a hitting move. Base 40 power 3 times. So that's base 20, base 40, base 60. Okay. So that's not like that strong of a move. That's still pretty good though. I think I'd probably rate Masshold higher. And that's also fair with contact moves with Rocky Helmet. Cinccino doesn't have to worry about that. And that's why Masshold is ranked where it is. I'd say around 8 to 10 points is probably fair for Cinccino. Who was my Spanish teacher in high school? Sadison? Whatever. Alright. Cinccino, interesting there. Who is Ice Spinner? Cinccino is Ice Spinner. Does Masshold Ice Spinner? It doesn't. Yeah, but I guess it removes terrain, but the Triple Axle is going to be better. And Masshold doesn't have knockoff, so you can't remove Rocky Helmets. You can do so with Cinccino. So I imagine like 9 to 10 points is probably good for it. Alright, who we got next? Cobalion. Cobalion is always a cool I'm generally a big fan of Cobalion. With it not having Toxic, that's probably makes it not as good though. So I assume it doesn't have Toxic anymore. But it might have gotten cool moves to compensate for it. Body Press. It's neat. Has versatility going offense for defensive. But if you go like Sword Stance, it's base 90 attack. It's not the highest, but the coverage is okay. And it has good bulk. You can put a lot of like... You can put berries on it, and you can live like any hit pretty easily. a Cobalion. It's always a decent Pokemon. Steel Beam. Volt Switch it still has at least. I don't think I see anything that's really new. Has Vacuum Wave. I don't know if I had always had priority. The Cobalion is always reliable. I feel like Steel types are at a premium. So I'd probably rank Cobalion pretty high. Probably in this 12-13 point range. I like Cobalion more than like all those Pokemon in the 12-point range. I don't really like this 12-point range tier. Like the Pokemon there, there's like a couple Pokemon that are right, but I think for the most part that list is underwhelming. But it seems kind of too good for 13. Or I'm saying that the Pokemon in 13 points seem better than Cobalion. I think 12 or 13 is fine for it. Looks like it got nothing outside of Vacuum Wave. Maybe that's pretty. I'm pretty sure that's a new move. But that's the only thing new about it. Combustion. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Let's see, Combustion. I think the same stuff. It has close combat. It has Focus Blast. It has a lot of the coverage of Blaziken. It's just bulkier and slower. And with Terra Access, it kind of seems like it could be a demon. Probably like 5 points. I feel like that's probably fair value. Does it have Baton Pass? It has Baton Pass. It has everything of Blaziken. It's just it has Hold a Violate, and it's slower and less attack. But I think 5 points is probably fine with it, especially with Terra Access. Maybe 6 point. Like you could go. I don't know what Terra type you would go with this. Yeah, I don't know, but I think Combustion works okay. Comfey. Comfey's always a cool Pokemon. Let's see. Did Comfey get any? Comfey lost Toxic, I'm assuming, and probably like Aromatherapy. So that is a downside for it. Triage, always a cool ability. Alluring Voice, 100% Confused. It has a stat rise, not really important. It has Draining Kiss, so priority Draining Kiss. Encore, base 100 speed. This Pokemon's always neat, and it might be super good if it has Terra Access. Does it have Reflect? No Reflect. I don't think it had Reflect in the past. Stored Power. It had that before. Trailblaze, Terra Blast. I don't see anything here that's different. Yeah, I don't see anything new that Comfey got. It's probably on the range of maybe being too good with Terra, but it's probably around that 8 to 10 point value. Maybe like 8 to 9 point value. I feel like this Mama Terra would be like nuts though, with priority healing, and like you can change your typing if you or just give you extra coverage. It seems pretty good. I imagine we can skip these. Croconaw. I assume if we get to Feraligatr, we can change that. Deoxys. Deoxys speed and defense are OU legal. That is quite interesting. Okay. I've used Deoxys speed before in Draft League. I don't really think it's super broken. It's very good, though. I honestly wouldn't be opposed to trying it out this season. But I feel like also generally, I feel like I'm a little bit more open to trying stuff than maybe AIM and MVOR. And I think that's because they had not the greatest experience with Terra access, plus having like Chanpao and Palafin all being able to Terra in like their first season. Like the combination of those two felt very powerful, which I can definitely see. And like the staleness, like they're gonna be Terraing every week. And it's like, does your Terramon beat their Terramon? If they do, then you're probably in pretty good shape to win. And if they don't, you're like at a very big disadvantage. But yeah, Deoxys speed, if it's not going to have Terra, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Nasty Plot, always neat. It has Psychic Noise, which I don't think is too big of a deal. Spikes, it's a very good Pokemon. It has Teleport if you need if you want to switch out with it, but that's actually not. Yeah, I don't think you're actually going to run that on this. Maybe on you can run that on Deoxys Defense for sure. And it's the same moves here. Meteor Beam is cool. I don't know if it had that before, but you probably just run Nasty Plot. I would probably allow Deoxys speed. Maybe like 19, even like we could even have like a 20-point tier for stuff that's super, super good. I didn't see any new noticeable moves on Deoxys speed. Deoxys defense is definitely fine to have as well. It's a cool spike Pokemon, taunt, recover, seismic toss. Oh, it doesn't even have seismic toss. I thought it had seismic toss in the past. Or maybe it's a Nightshade, is it? Okay, it has Nightshade. Okay, so Nightshade. You could go like this set. Probably close to every week. And be like, that's pretty good. Like you get spikes up. You could wear Pokemon down with Nightshade. You can even go knock off on this set if you already have a Spiker. You even go Psychic Noise to prevent healing as well, and like have a little bit of a special attack. Not that you're hitting super hard. Deoxys D is pretty good. Say with Mew will also have spikes. But I feel like I like the offensive ability of Mew more, though obviously the Deoxys defense has recovery, which is nice. It's probably around that point. I think Gliscor is probably going to be higher next season. I could see Deoxys defense in the 14 to 15 point range. I think that's pretty decent. I'm going to get a glass of water, so give me like 30 seconds. Not even that. Okay, sweet. Deoxys won't be able to Terra in our league because, we're restricting it to like 9 points and below. I think 14 to 15 is probably fine for Deoxys. It honestly might be a little too high, maybe 14. It's very predictable, but it's quite good at what it does. And I suppose with Deoxys you can go Nasty Plot Recover sets or Calm Mind sets with Recover, and 2 coverage moves, Psychic plus Grass Knot or Shadow Ball, something like that. It's probably okay, but it takes longer to set up. It has quite good defense. Dugong, the crowd favorite. Aquarius quite likes this mon. Did he get anything? It has thick fat. That's always not bad, right? It makes you 8 times resistant to ice? Yeah, there's not many Pokemon that have an 8 times resistance. Does it have Dragon Dance? It doesn't. I thought it had Dragon Dance. I'm making him thinking someone else. Perish Song, no Toxic. Has Triple Axle. Base 70 attack. Not that good. I don't see anything. I might have skipped over something. I'm not looking that in depth with Dugong. 1 to 2 points. Probably not anything more than that. Jupiter. Probably a 1 or 2 point mon as well. Your bulk is not great, but it's kind of like the same as like in terms of what's the Toxapests? Marini. What is better bulk? But Marini has Regenerator and all that. Marini's not a bad like 1-2 point Pokemon if you really had it. Yeah, Lapras is Dragon Dance. That's probably what I'm thinking of. Dodrio. It's 110 speed now as opposed to 100 from the early games. It has fighting coverage, low kick. Anything different that would be interesting? Sword Stance with Terra Blast, Trailblaze. Trailblaze always makes a Pokemon a little bit better. I thought it had other fighting coverage. It's just low kick. And what's your normal coverage move? Double Edge? Is there anything better? Double Hit? That's not good. Facade. No great normal move. I mean, you could go Terra Blast. Dodrio, probably like 4 points. Drill Run? Okay. I thought it had low kick before. I thought it had both those. I guess Fearow had low kick. Or Fearow had Drill Run before. So it is an option to hit steel types and rock types. Maybe 5 points. But realistically, I don't think I'm actually getting a Dodrio for 5 points. 4 is probably fine. In that range. It's probably okay. It's an okay Pokemon with Terra access. And I guess there's boots around to make it at least a little bit bulkier. But no normal coverage is not great. And you have to rely on Brave Bird, that's a fine move anyway. But not the best. No really good ability at all. Has Baton Pass. So it has a little bit of momentum. I think 4 or 5 point range is probably fun. Did Dugong get a ton of new moves? I feel like they're moves I've just seen in the past. But probably, like, Drill Run might be a new move. But I feel like it's all pretty low impact. Like, these stats are not good at all. And you have no setup moves. You have Curse. So, like, that's going to be your one way to, like try to boost that attack. Yeah, no Mega Horn. Yeah, unfortunate. So I think Dugong is probably fine here at 1 2 point. Dodrio probably fine at like 4 or 5 point. I probably want him drafted though. Jolber. Okay, Excadrill is back. That's cool. Duosion, always a fan favorite for me. I could definitely see myself drafting this Pokemon if it's like in a 4 point, 5 point tier. Maybe even a little cheaper. It depends. There's power creep. But it has 125 special attack, so that is quite good. And now you have Terra coverage. You could go like Terra Fire to hit steel types, and with Magic Guard, you're not even taking Stealth Rock damage with a Violet. So Duosion seems very cool. Let's see, any moves that I got in particular. I'm not really seeing anything. And again, I might have like seen the move, or if I see a move that's even like new, maybe I just overlook it, and it probably doesn't make too much of a difference on the Pokemon anyway. I think Duosion with Terra Access seems pretty good. It definitely has like good enough bulk with the Violet. Like what's let's see, like Duosion. You go like max HP, max defense, Terra type fire, Terra Blast to like Corviknight. And it's a lot of damage. That is quite a bit of damage, 60 to 70%. And that's like max HP, max defense, and then like Brave Bird is doing 25 to 30%. Duosion seems pretty cool. That seems like something to keep an eye out for me. Duraludon. Now Duraludon has Eviolite now, so that seems quite neat. I know Eject Pack sets were popular with Draco Meteor, so you could probably still run that for sure. Special defense is not great, but you can run a... We don't even need to run Assault Vest. You just run a Violet. You ran a Assault Vest in the future, in the past. Oh, there you go. And then, I guess, Heavy Metal, depending on what... does it have Heavy Slam? It has Heavy Slam. So, or if you want Light Metal, you're probably still getting hit by Low Kick pretty hard. So, 7-8 points. Yeah, that's probably about right. Maybe even a little bit better. I feel like Duraludon was probably around 7-8 points in older gens. I feel like 9 or 10 points is probably fair. I feel like Terra Access is probably fine. I feel like 9 points is probably okay for this Pokemon. It has Sword Stance, so like it can still do stuff. Base 85 is not slow, and that's like still quite good numbers. Base 535. Like that's a lot of base stat like value right there. Now with special moves, Draco Meteor, like and Flash Cannon, they're pretty low downs. Like the downsides are pretty high with those moves. But Draco Meteor is a really hard hitting move, so you can't complain too much about that. The coverage isn't great, but if you add a Terra type, whatever you want to add, it seems okay. I think 9 or 10 points is probably fine for it. Electabuzz and Electivire. Let's see what they get. This Pokemon always seems to underwhelm whenever you draft it, though. And Electabuzz is usually fine for a low tier speed electric type because it is faster than Electivire. Bulk Up. I feel like I had Bulk Up in the past. Knock Off is cool. Low Kick is cool. I don't think I had Low Kick in the past, so that's probably a harder hitting move than Cross Chop. Like if you're hitting a lot of Rock or Steel types are 120 base power. Supercell Slam. Now I heard about this move with Fufu posting the Zebstrika going for Supercell Slam. It's like a jump kick basically for electric type. So now that's going to be hitting hard, but you don't hit ground type still. And you're going to be taking 50% damage if there is a ground type on the opposing team. So that is a risky move. But Wild Charge has recoil as well. So it hits a little bit harder. And no recoil as long as you don't hit a ground type or something immune to electric, like Lanturn or something like that. Trailblaze, that's cool. I feel like it's going to be marginally better, but with Terra Access, I feel like this makes it pretty decent with Terra Access. So what's the new move? Supercell Slam. I feel like this move is actually not that great. Yeah, Bulk Up is new. Knock Off is new. Low kick is neat. With Terra, like, it's probably good. Trailblaze too. Maybe a weakness policy set. I'm not sure how that would run. I could see this being like 7 to 8 point range. 7 to 8. And Electabuzz. It has the same moves: bulk up, knock off. I would probably say all that is like probably fine for it, right? Just doesn't. Yeah, I think the ground type is hard, like because you do want a ground type, so it seems pretty tough to execute like effectively. But I think it has potential. Maybe like 6 to 8 point range and 5 to 7 point range. I think Terra does give Electabuzz like cool just defensive utility. Not probably too much offensive utility. Emboar. Emboar is always a neat Pokemon. Because you can go physical or special with it. Has high HP. Ooh, Emboar is a mon I'm excited about. Reckless hits pretty hard. And it has bulk up. Okay. That is definitely a new move. Because it had Curse in before, but bulk up is going to just be better. And Drain Punch. But Drain Punch isn't that great because your HP is so high. Close combat, yeah. And it got knockoffs as well. That's pretty cool. Removing items. I don't know how often you actually click close combat with Emboar because your moves hit so hard. You probably just rather just deal more upfront damage. But removing items is nice. Head Smash is always a cool utility option. Knockoff, okay. Scald is a cool techie special move that it gets. Don't have to rely on superpower. Temper Flare, probably not that necessary. Trailblaze is cool. You're still pretty slow, but like, and it's still pretty fast. That allowed to be like Azel for sure with the boost. I guess you don't have to run Scarf now. Anything else that I got? Trailblaze is always neat. Coaching, I think that's only for doubles. Hard Press, I don't think that's that great of a move. Solar Beam on special sets. Okay. Maybe like a good comparison Pokemon would be like Heracross. Now I have Heracross at 10. I think Emboar's better than Heracross. So I think it's probably an 11 point range. Empoleon is probably better. I think Emboar's better than Rotom Heat. Maybe on the same range as like a Lockix in terms of like what it can do. I think like 11, 12 point range seems pretty good for Emboar. I think 11 points I think is probably fair. I'd have to see what we ranked it like in previous generations and then probably bump it up or like 2 points. Maybe 12 points. 12 points is probably appropriate for this Pokemon. Might be a little high, but because I feel like Mienshao is like the defined like case for like a good 12 point fighting type. Emboar like hits harder and probably it's a little bit more bulk, but Regenerator's just super nice. Probably similar in terms of like what they could provide. Emboar can also go mix as well. What do we got next? Entei. Okay. Getting some hard hitters here. Hard fire type hitters. Entei losing Toxic is probably not great. Calm Mind. It had Calm Mind before. Eruption. I think Eruption, like, you needed some, like, quiet nature or something like that in the past. I don't know. I don't think that's the case anymore. Fire. A lot of fire moves. Sacred Fire. Stomping Tantrum. Trailblaze. This all seems the same. Rain Dance. Okay, that's cool. I mean, there's Boots, so you don't have to worry about Boots, or worry about Stealth Rock damage. I don't see anything that's different, unless if I'm missing something with Entei here. Yeah, it looks the same to me. Probably like an 11-point mon. And it looks pretty similar in how it functions. It hits pretty hard. Has a 50% chance to burn, which is always cool. Who do we got next? Excadrill. Okay, we're getting some really good Pokemon here. Still no Earthquake. Quite unfortunate. Alright, Excadrill. We have Sand as well with Tyranitar, Hippowdon, so like it's always going to be a good Sand Rush user. If you want to be really cheeky, run Sand Force, but that'd be crazy. And you can even run Mold Breaker to make sure you get Stealth Rocks up against Magic Bounce. So always cool stuff there. Drill Run, I don't know if that's a new move, but you always want Earthquake anyway. High Horsepower, Iron Defense, Scorching Sands, Sword Stance, no Trailblaze. Okay, that docks a point off it. No, it doesn't need Trailblaze. It would be cool to hit like Gastrodon, I guess, for harder. But Earthquake usually does enough, like if you're Life Orb. I don't see anything here. I mean, having just Rapid Spin is pretty clutch, because Iron Treads, Great Tusk, Quaquaval, Brambleghast, Donphan, like, there weren't a ton of good Rapid Spinners. It got Weather Ball. That's did it get Weather Ball? No, it didn't. And it didn't get Trailblaze. So basically the same Pokemon as before. I think 17 point is probably pretty good for it. Probably better than Landorus. Maybe in the same tier. Maybe somebody's mines go higher. Maybe I was overrating the maybe 16 point. Probably 16 point. I think 16 point is fair. There are not a lot of Rapid Spinners, so Excadrill is like definitely very good for that. I probably go Excadrill over Iron Treads. I mean, because you have the option with Sand and Sword Stance that Iron Treads doesn't have. Though Iron Treads is Booster Energy, which is cool. Iron Treads is another Pokemon I'd really like to use. I think 16 is probably fine for it. What do we got next? Exeggutor. Oh yeah, I was going to look over these forums. I haven't done that. It's probably easier just to keep it as we did. Also, clutch that the car alarm was fixed by whoever outside. Okay. Dragon Hammer. That was a move. Last generation, I believe. Future Sight. It's a cool move. Pretty high special attack. Okay, a lot of this seems the same. Trailblaze. Block. Block is always a cool move to have. Yeah, I think a lot of this is the same. No Toxic. You could still be a Leech Seed. Oh, you can use Ability Shield. Yeah, that's fair. If you're like, if you want to lead SPL to make sure Excadrill rocks don't go up, that is fair. But I don't think it changes too much with Excadrill's viability. Exeggutor, like, being able to get out of Grass Psychic Weakness is very good. Grass Psychic has so many weaknesses. 4 times weak to U-turn. You could easily Terra, like, Fairy, or Water, or Dragon. Steel, I guess. You're weak to Fire, though, at that point. You probably Dark, maybe. You have a lot of options you could go with Excadrill. Chlorophyll is cool, Harvest is cool, Subset, or just go out full special attacking. 125 as special attacks a lot. And if you give it Terra Axis, and you give it Terra Blast Fire, Fire is probably a good typing on this, especially if you're going to go Chlorophyll. Actually, thinking it's probably a little bit better. If you're going to give a Terra Axis with Chlorophyll with Fire, that's pretty good. It's basically the Grass Fire coverage you want with you want out there with like what's the Lilligant we have, because it's Lilligant can go speed boosting plus Fire plus Grass. That's a pretty good combination. And Lilligant when you have it 6 points. Exeggutor is probably on the same page as Lilligant. It's not going to be as good if a Quiver Dance... I mean, it's not a Quiver Dance Sweeper. It functions different because you need support with Sun. But you just hit a lot harder because you have 125 special attack. Like that in the Sun. And speed is... That's going to outspeed... That doesn't have to be Dragapult, actually, in Sun. You need Timid, unfortunately. But outspeeds basically every other Pokemon. And I guess it wouldn't have to be Deoxys speed. Yeah, Psychic is not a great typing defensively. Offensively, it's still quite good. So I think like 5 or 6 points for Exeggutor is probably fair, because you're probably going to want to give a Terra Axis. Feraligatr, okay. Let's see what you got. Did you get anything cool? Agility, I had that. Crunch, Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Flip Turn. Flip Turn for Alligator seems cool. I don't believe I had Flip Turn before. But I mean, if you're Life Orb and you're taking recoil damage there with Sheer Force, so I don't know if that's actually great. I feel like a lot of times with Alligator, you just want to be in there and like Swords Dance up with Liquidate, whatever water move, Aqua Jet, Ice Punch. Like, that's a pretty good setter. Dragon Dance. With, like, Earthquake. Maybe that's another move you can run. Low Kick. Psychic Fangs. Is Psychic Fangs a new move? It might be. I don't know how much that, like, influences really anything. Superpower. It doesn't have, like, close combat, right? No. It had Superpower before. Trailblaze. I guess you could... Swords Dance plus Trailblaze. And I don't see... Oh, Scale Shot. That's interesting. Loaded Dice plus Scale Shot. That sounds actually... that's probably not great. Because you want Life Orb if you're going to have Sheer Force. But Psychic Fangs, that gets boosted by... does it get boosted? I don't think it does get boosted by Sheer Force. So, that's not helping it too much. It does have Fling, so you could run Fling Big Nugget. So I guaranteed that MV's going to bring that up in the video and say it's going to be better. And Joey's not going to be impressed. You could like pencil that as a guaranteed thing that's going to happen. I really feel like it's an 8 or 9 point mon with no Terra. You could also convince me to go to 10. For Alligator, it's tough. Like, it hits hard for sure. Not great speed, not great defenses. It's probably too good to give it Terra access, but I don't know. For Alligator, I don't really remember it actually ever doing anything that good. So I'm going to say like 8, 9 points, but no Terra. Flygon. I think I heard Flygon got Stealth Rocks. I heard like a couple like minor things about Pokemon. Flygon. Alluring Voice. It's a neat Pokemon. Not the highest stats. But neat. Generation 4 Pokemon shoutouts. Boom Burst. I believe it had Boom first, right? That's just a hard-hitting move, and you could pair that with Throat Spray to like give you a special attack boost. Flygon Lost Roost. That's not great. Draco Meteor. Dragon Dance. It has Earth Power, Earthquake. First Impression. That's the move. That's a new move. First Impression. No Roost. Heat Rave. Psychic Noise. Quick Attack. I had Quick Attack before. Stealth Rocks. No Spikes. No Roost seems pretty tough on Flygon. It keeps U-turn, which if it lost a U-turn, it would have been Jover for this Pokemon. Let's get Scale Shot, so you can run that with Scale Shot plus Loaded Dice. Exeggutor's Trick and Growth for Sun. Oh, did Exeggutor not always have Growth? I don't think that really changes too much about it. But Trick is interesting. Vacuum Wave, that's a new move. But not a deal breaker there. Probably similar boat as Feraligatr. I'd probably make it like an 8-9 point no Terra Pokemon. You could honestly convince me to probably give it Terra though, and I don't think it would be that broken. It's kind of unfortunate. Flygon is not the greatest Pokemon. Unfortunately. Would have been cool. Like, losing Roost also, like wouldn't let me make it okay to be, like, a really, really good Terra Captain. You know what? I think I would probably allow Terra. I would say 9 points with Terra. I think it'd give Flygon some, like, pretty cool, like, viability there. And I think, like, it not having Roost is pretty bad. So, I don't think it's going to make them on super broken. But I think it'd be a cool Terra option to have Flygon. To go there and boost its attack a little bit. Galvantula. Probably the same stuff as I had before. It looks like it's all the same stuff. I guess it has Terra Blast now. Wild Charge, X-Scissor. It has physical moves. Off base 77 attack. I don't think you actually would ever run that. I don't see anything here that looks impactfully different. It has Volt Switch. It has Thunder with Compound Eyes. It has Sticky Web. Oh, Terra Steel. Yeah. I mean, we limit for Flygon, like 9 points is the max to allow Terra. Like if it was 10 points, then we wouldn't give a Terra access. And I feel like Flygon at 10 points would be too weak. 9 points with Terra makes it really good. So maybe something like in between there. Like if we did a 10-point Terra, that'd probably be good for it. But I think I would generally lean towards making Flygon better. And then making it a little bit worse. I don't think it's going to be super broken. Galvantula, probably in the 9-10 point. Ribombee, we have at 11 points. It's probably slightly worse. So I think 10 points is fine. And I think we had Araquanid at like 9 points. So I would say Galvantula might be slightly better. I'd probably lean towards... But I feel like if you have 9 point Galvantula, you probably wouldn't Terra it. I think I would go 9 points and allow Galvantula to Terra. I think that would actually make it pretty interesting too. I don't think Galvantula, like with Terra access, adds a whole lot. But with Electric plus Bug and Grass coverage with the Energy Vault, that's like pretty good coverage. Like you don't need much more than that. I don't think Terra Blast is going to make it anything particularly more broken. So I think that's a cool option there. And Sticky Webs is good anyway. So maybe the combination might be too powerful, but I'm fine with that. Gloom has generally viability, but I think I'll skip over that. I've used Gloom and I used Gloom in a draft league before. So that was cool. Golurk, I have a video on my channel for it. Golurk is always a cool Pokemon. This is also a Generation 5 NU staple. You would run like Colbur Berry or Pasho Berry. They handle Ludicolo plus Samurott, and you go for Dynamic Punch, but back in the day had a 50% chance to confuse. Now it's only a third. Body Press, I'm sure that's a new move, but that doesn't really help out Golurk too much. Close Combat, I think I had Close Combat before, but that's always a benefit. Though it doesn't get boosted by Iron Fist. Drain Punch it had before. Gyro Ball is neat. Heavy Slam is neat. Heat Crash, Knockoff. Did Golurk have Knockoff before? I guess I could do something like this. Past Gen OU. Golurk. It did not have Knockoff before. Okay, so that seems like that's pretty good for Golurk, having access to Knockoff. And Close Combat's good move. Does it gets Poltergeist? Did it have It might have had Poltergeist Gen 8, right? It did. Okay. But Poltergeist is still a great move on it. Close Combat, Poltergeist. Very hard to switch into. 124 attack. And, like, you could go Life Orb, or you could go, like, Resist Berry and probably live any one hit. Shadow Punch is a lot weaker. I feel like Shadow Punch was base 70 before. Base 60 is pretty weak. It has Reflect. Okay. That's a new move, but you're probably not going to ever run. If you have Light Screen and Reflect, then it might be more valuable, but probably not worth it. Stealth Rocks, that was there before. No Trailblaze. Trailblaze Golurk would be pretty cool. Hard Press. Again, I don't think it's that great of a move. Okay. It has really neat, cheeky moves. Golurk is probably like a 7-8 point Pokemon, I would say. And I think it'd be a pretty good Terra Cat. Okay. And I think it's quite a good Terra Captain. Like, if you have Golurk like at 7 or 8 points and another 7 or 8 point Terra Captain, that seems pretty good. Flygon is probably better. Galvantula probably better at Terra Access. Golurk is probably better at Terra Pokemon than Galvantula, but Galvantula has webs, which makes it just better. Golurk with Terra Access seems pretty interesting. So I think that's a good spot for it. And give me 1 second. Yeah, I think Golurk at 7-8 points is probably pretty good. We still have quite a bit of Pokemon to go. I don't think we're not going to do this all in one stream. How long is this list? I refreshed them. Shoutouts to Google for being crappy. Oh no. Shit. Well, it might be the dock itself, but shout outs to Autumn for for helping out with making this document and such. There are a bunch of like loaded sprites, so it's going to take longer for the page. It's longer for the page to load. How many Pokemon are on this list? There's Latioses. Maybe I get to like M. Like the end of M. 157. So I'm targeting like 80 or so on this list. Which is like M. Yeah, so maybe I'll get up to M. And then that'll be good for today. We'll see. Depending how fast we go. Because I have no idea what this Gouging Fire is. Gouging Fire. I have no idea. Photosynthesis Pokemon. Okay. Fire Dragon. So what is this based off of? Okay. This looks pretty good. There's an unfortunate I can't see like what the Pokemon is. Oh, it's Entei. Ooh, okay. That's pretty cool. I guess I could have figured that out by looking at the moves. But Entei with dragon coverage. What's a comparison here stats-wise? Less HP, much higher defense. And special defense and little less speed. And less special attack, but I don't think that's probably too important on this Pokemon. Though it does have Drake and Meteor, so you probably want the special coverage. It has Flame Charge, so that'll be pretty good. Photosynthesis is Sunny Day. So this on Sunny Day, it might slap really hard. You say it has a special move. I'll look at that in a second. We'll see what it is. It's not coming up initially. Flame Charge, Flare Blitz, typical fire coverage. Does it have like a Dragon Claw? Okay. Does it have Outrage? Does it have Skill Shot? I think that's an usually useless move. Raging Fury. Okay. That's like the Outrage version. And it does have Outrage itself. So it has pretty good strong fire moves and Dragon and Fire moves. No Trailblaze. Bulwark. Burning Bulwark. So is that Baneful Bunker? Baneful Bunker with Burn. And it has Earthquake. Oh, this Pokemon has Earthquake. So it's really different than Entei. About if you're facing this Pokemon, and you want to go for like a U-turn, say, you could always run this to try to get a burn chance. And it does not have Sacred Fire, right? No Sacred Fire. So that is quite unfortunate for it. I imagine you'd want Sacred Fire on this set. Dragon Rush, Dragon Cheer, Howl. So able to boost attack. That's not probably that important. Scale Shot. Smart Strike. Nothing fancy there. Stone Edge. Roar. Roar is going to be good on defensive sets. Morning Sun. Okay, so that's covered. So this could definitely be a defensive Pokemon. Like Morning Sun. Can't have Toxic, unfortunately. What is it? Burning Bulwark? I don't know if it's that good. Does it have Will-O-Wisp? It doesn't have Will-O-Wisp. Does it have like Lava Plume? It could have Lava Plume, so you can run that just to get the burn chance. Is the mic cutting out? Is it sounding? Does mic sound fine? I don't really know. Let me look at my test. It looks okay. Oh. Oh, okay, okay. That's good that, okay. Yes, that's working fine. Joey thinks his mon is like 17 points. I don't think I'm seeing it initially. I might be missing something. So, it is, I mean, 115 is quite good. Photosynthesis. Can you boost speed? You could definitely boost speed with this. Yeah. But you'd have to run, like, something like that. And you could go speed boosting with pretty decent attack. Fire Dragon is pretty decent, though. You're weak to rocks, so you probably want to run Boots. So Boots, Morning Sun. You probably don't... I don't think you realistically run Burning Bulwark. It doesn't seem that great. Unless you have, like, leftovers and Toxic. I think that's what makes Baneful Bunker, like, somewhat justified on Toxapex as, like, something you could run. You don't even run it that often, though. And I guess you have the option of Dragon Dancing. Like you could go more defensive or more offensive. I think you have options there. And it has Earthquake. What would I guess Earthquake hits opposing fire types. Yeah, like Dragon is a good defensive typing, but Fire is it's tough to run unless you run Boot. But it has Morning Sun, and this is going to be like significantly bulkier than like a Moltres or something like that. The attacks are okay. The bulk is good. Yeah, it seems okay. I probably rate it like 15, 16 points. You could go Dragon Dance Scale Shot. And I guess, Sun. Sun's going to make it actually a pretty big deal. Like, Sun actually gives a lot of versatility. You could go, like, defensive or physical with it. And just Photosynthesis to have that Sun boost. Or even just have a pretty high attack. And just have not as much speed. And, like, go pretty bulky. Maybe it's an option you can go. But yeah, base 115. And you have Fire Blast, Flare Blitz, Heat Crash. Is Gouging Fire like... Is it like a heavy Pokemon? Because that's how it works, right? It's a pretty heavy Pokemon, so I guess there's a decent chance that that Heat Crash is like going to be doing a lot of damage. I probably like off like first look at this, I'm thinking like in the 16, 17 point range. We can see what Pokemon are there right now, like Cinderace. Do I think this Pokemon is better than Cinderace? It has, like, defensive pluses to it. And Dragon is going to be pretty good. Having Sun, I mean, Cinderace has, like, pretty good speed. And Pyro Balls and Sun are pretty good with it. But having Photosynthesis is pretty neat. You could always just have a +1 speed boost if you really wanted, and it doesn't really affect your attack that much. You can't really run special sets. The 65 special attack is too low. And I don't think you'd run booster defense unless you wanted to go super defensive and go like Roar if you're really worried about some setup or something like that. I'm thinking like 16, 17. I think 18 is going to be too high for what this Pokemon does. But like I think Bascalibur is going to be better. Chiyu, all those Pokemon look like they're better. But it's cool that Entei finally has Earthquake, right? Granbull. What do you got? Has Bulk Up, Close Combat. I think it had Close Combat? And did it have Close Combat in previous games? It did. Okay. Curse. I mean, Bulk Up is just better. Earthquake. Encore. I don't think an Encore, but it's pretty slow. I don't know how impactful that's going to be. Focus Blast? I don't know if it had Focus Blast, but the special attack is way too low for it to be worth too much. Overheat. It has like very weird, good special coverage off of base 60 attack. But I guess if you really wanted to hit a Fortress, you could definitely run Overheat for that instance. Sludge Bomb. Hit Fairy types. No, does it have Poison Jab? I don't see a Poison Jab on here. Temper Flare has fire coverage. Had Fire Punch anyway. Trailblaze. It has Rattled, so you could go Rattled. Trailblaze, like maybe getting like a lot of speed on the Gramble. I don't know how much it's actually going to do, but your attack is like 130, 120. That's quite good. And just having Intimidate is one of the best abilities in the game. So, and the ability to like change your Terra typing, I think makes this an interesting Terra option. I don't think it got anything particularly useful, but I think Terra Access itself is like a pretty cool versatility there. It still has Roar, Rest Talk, no immediate recovery. Immediate recovery would have been nice. Yeah, special defense is really low. And yeah, Trailblaze is something new, but I don't think that's too impactful. Psychic Fangs is interesting, but I don't know what that really hits. Play Rough already hits fighting types. So I don't even know Psychic Fangs doesn't hit too much. It even had Brick Break if you really wanted to get rid of screens. So I think like 6 points, 7 points, it's probably slightly better. It was like a 5-6 point mine before. But with Terra, it probably makes it slightly better. Hitmonchan. This is a pretty regrettable, like, definitely can forget about this Pokemon. I don't think it offers a whole lot. Has Bulk Up. That's cool. I don't know if it had Bulk Up before. Probably. Yeah. No, it definitely had Bulk. I remember running Bulk Up sets on Hitmonchan before. Like in low tier. Like RU, NU, something like that. Drain Punch, Earthquake. Earthquake seems like a pretty good move for Hitmonchan. High Jump Kick. Interesting for Hitmonchan to have High Jump Kick. Knockoff. Did it have Knockoff too? I feel like it did. It didn't. Okay. That T is pretty good. And did it have Earthquake before? It did have Earthquake. I guess you probably wouldn't run it a whole... Like, fighting hits a lot of stuff that Earthquake hits. Knockoff on Hitmonchan seems quite good. Rapid Spin, obviously a pretty big... like, move for it. Like, it's probably worth the draft just because of Sword Stance. Sword Stance is... that makes it, like, definitely scarier to deal with. Taunt? I don't know if it got Taunt either. And Trailblaze. Hitmonchan's look at low-key threatening. 105 attack, you would just like it to be like 120 attack. Maybe would make that better. If 76 speed is not great, you're also not outspeeding base 80 speed, and base 80 speed is like a pretty good benchmark to outspeed. But like, if you get a +1 like Trailblaze, I could see this Pokemon like being pretty cool, low tier. You could run something like this for sure. Trailblaze, close combat, also has a inner focus. So you can't get intimidated. I imagine Iron Fist. You can honestly run either ability. It really depends what the matchup is. Punching Glove, even it. So that way you avoid Rocky Helmet and such, and you go for like punching moves. It has priority in Mach Punch and Bullet Punch, and it has Rapid Spin, which I guess you would just run Rapid Spin. You would actually never run Trailblazer unless you're really worried about a Ghost type. But now you have Knockoff to hit it, so. And yeah, Taunt's a new move too. Yeah, this I mean, I probably say like 6 points. Like, the attack is not great. The speed is not great. The bulk is quite good. The HP is super, super low. So I guess Drain Punch sets work fine. The defense isn't great, so you can run bulk up. It'd be an interesting low tier to use. But I don't know if I would use it over, like, Girder. Like, I feel like Girder with Terra at 5 points is probably something I would go towards over Hitmonchan at 6 or 7 points. Now, I could go at, like, 5 points, I guess. Like, it could be, the Hitmonchan could be lower. But Girder having, like, Defog versus Spin is, like, not that big of a deal. Swords Dance is probably the highlight on Hitmonchan. Swords Dance plus Knockoff to now hitting fighting types. It's, like, fast enough, and you don't have to run a Violate. It might be a little bit better than Girder. So I think 6-7 points is good for it. Hitmonlee is usually a little bit higher. You could run on Burden sets with it. I feel, did Hitmonlee have knockoff before? Maybe I'm tripping. It did have knockoff before. Okay. Which is weird because Hitmonlee doesn't really have like big hands. But I guess it's like punching gloves or Hitmonchan. It'd be kind of hard to knock something off. You just punch it. But Reckless, Unburden, they put Hitmonlee over the top. You could go on Reckless High Jump Kick and hit pretty decently hard, especially with Terra Fighting now. And this has 120 attack. And the better speed. Like, this Pokemon is just infinitely better than Hitmonchan, unfortunately. Lunge. Did I have Poison? I think I had Poison Jab before. Yeah, so it can hit Fairy types. Like, you probably want Gunk Shot to hit Fairy types. Like, that actually does very good damage. But you could go, like, change your Terra type here. The Eraser Pokemon, that's funny. Swords Dance as well. Did Hitmonlee not have Swords Dance before? It didn't. Okay. It's like a mini Hawlucha then. If you go, like, Electric Seed, SD, Lunge, Taunt. This looks pretty cool. Obviously, it's still a Rapid Spin. Yeah, Throw Chop and Knockoff. It already had Knockoff. Yeah, you compare this with Electric Terrain and just be like a little worse Hawlucha. Does it have... I don't think you have Acrobatics, right? No. Did it have Triple Axle in the past? No, maybe not. I don't know why I thought it had Triple Axle. Okay. It seems better. It has Vacuum Wave. There you go. They'd probably go like 9 points for Hitmonlee. I think it's definitely better than Hitmonchan, though having Swords Dance helps out both. But I already had Knockoff. So like Hitmonlee doesn't really get... Like, Hitmonchan gets better than Hitmonlee does with the changes. Like, Inner Focus makes Hitmonchan better as well. But Hitmonlee was already just a pretty decent Pokemon to begin with. And Terra just makes it really strong. I think both can Terra. But, like, 120 base attack, Hitmonlee with Terra access. And then you go Terra Fairy or Terra Dark. And you get a rapid speed boost, and, like, now you're outspeeding everything. It might be really good with Terra. It might be borderline too good with Terra. Because if it is Terra Access, like, you can definitely go, like... you could even go normal gem. And just have, like, guaranteed speed with Fake Out. And then you can change your Terra type to whatever. And Swords Dance to just have the speed that way. That seems pretty good for Hitmonlee. I would favor to probably let it have Terra Access and 9 points. But it would be quite good if it does have that. Next we got Hitmontop. I feel like at one point people thought Hitmontop was the best one because it has Intimidate, which is quite good of an ability. I probably thought Hitmonlee was always better than Hitmontop. And this is actually the Pokemon I thought that had Triple Axle, because this definitely had Triple Axle before. Agility. Nah, I kind of forgot Hitmontop existed, not gonna lie. Yeah, attack and defense are. It's like the differences between the three. It's okay. Close combat. It had close combat. Maybe not Drill Run. I don't know if it had Drill Run before, but Earthquake is gonna be better. Fake Out, High Jump Kick, Ice Spinner. I don't think it had it didn't have Ice Spinner before, but it has Triple Axle, so that's probably better. Triple Axle is better. With loaded dice. Loaded dice works with Triple Axle, right? I'm pretty sure it does. Mach Punch, no Sword Stance. That makes it definitely weaker. You're probably going to be looking more towards a defensive fighting type with Terra Access with Rapid Spin. I don't see any other new moves. It has Triple Kick. I don't know how strong Triple Kick gets. Triple Kick. I guess I can also just run it here. Hitmontop. Yeah, how does Triple Kick work? 10, 20, 30. Okay. So it's basically a base 60 power move. So Triple Kick doesn't actually seem that great. It has Technician, so maybe that lets it hit a little harder. I mean, this is saying Triple Kick. Well, that's Life Orb though, but Triple Kick, like, you don't need loaded dice for. That's actually not bad. That's not bad damage at Corviknight right there. That's Adamant Life Orb, I guess. I mean, if you have to go Adamant Life Orb, that's kind of meh. Like, you would imagine you'd probably be wanting to do it without that much damage. Yeah, Triple Kick is weaker even with Stab, for sure. Triple Axle. It's about the same. About the same damage output. Yeah, looks like Triple Kick's a little bit harder. Yeah, but Triple Kick, does it show like averages? Yeah, okay. Yeah, this looks about right, the damage output. I don't think there's anything too noticeable here. Maybe put it at 8 points. It does have Intimidate, so like that's better than any of these three abilities. So I think that alone probably makes it better than Hitmonchan. Though I probably would try to draft Hitmonchan with Terra Access over Hitmontop with Terra Access. I would probably take the 1 or 2 point hit to go Hitmonchan over Hitmontop, but Hitmontop is probably better. I mean, we can look at it. I don't think there's a world where we allow it. Those stats are just way too good. Yeah, we definitely aren't going to allow it. No point looking that over. We skip over any other. Okay. Hydrapple. Now, what is this Pokemon? Actually, give me 1 sec. I'm going to fill up my water. Okay, Hydrapple. It's great. Alright, why is it great? I think I've seen the, you can, like, see the sprite a tiny bit here. Hydrapple. That's a pretty goofy mod, but that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know if it's going to be too good to, oh, Regenerator. Holy crap, okay. I was going to say, I don't know if it's going to be too good to Terra or not, but Hydrapple is definitely, on the side of maybe making it better than Terra, like, too good to Terra, but I have no idea. Grass Dragon is not a great defensive typing, though. Regenerator is pretty good. And is actually, I guess the what's it, Applin, or what's the Pokemon I'm thinking of? Diplin. That's why it can hold a Violet, I guess. But Hydrapple, Super Sweet Syrup, lowers evasiveness once. That doesn't seem good. These stats, they look pretty similar to. It's not Flapple. Appleton. Let's see. Stat comparison here. So the defense and special attack are higher, and the speed is higher. Okay. So it's like, that's definitely better than Appleton. Appleton has 485 BSD, and this is 540. Okay. So that's pretty high up there. Body press off 110 defense is probably okay. Draker Meteor, Earthquake, Fickle Beam has a 30% chance that the move's power is doubled. Well, that's super nutty. So base 80, but there's a 30% chance is 160. I mean, it like fits the theme of a goofy Pokemon that it looks like. Definitely not a broken move, but a 30% chance to be 160 base power with no drawback. That's pretty cool. Like, Dragon Pulse is only 85 base power, so you probably still would have, like, Draco Meteor is still a pretty decent move to run anyway. But Fickle Beam definitely has, like, a niche for sure. Draco Meteor, you're, like, guaranteeing that you're going to get that damage output. You could miss, though, and Fickle Beam is 100% accurate, so. Earthquake, Body Press, they seem like pretty good coverage moves. I think at first glance, I don't think this Pokemon is like anything broken. Hydro Pump, Leaf Storm, and Draco. It has really hard-hitting special moves. Earth Power, yeah, that's a good call out. Like, okay, so this is coming off 120 special attack. Super good coverage, actually. And I assume it has Recover still, like any other forms do. Recover. Reflect. It doesn't have Light Screen. It has Reflect, which is okay. You can run like AV sets. It is very slow. Defensive typing isn't great. Sucker Punch is always a plus. Bullet Seed. Nothing to take advantage of loaded dice. It doesn't look like. Does it get Scale Shot? It doesn't get Scale Shot. Heavy Slam might be okay. The weight is not that high, so Heavy Slam is probably not going to be good. Syrup Bomb. Target speed is lowered by 1 stage for 3 turns. That's quite weird. I missed Nasty Plot. Oh, that's a pretty big move. That's a super big move. Regenerator, Nasty Plot. Huh. This is a weird Pokemon. It seems really cool to draft. At least on paper. I don't know how good it's going to actually be in practice. I mean, all the stuff's out in the ladder, so hopefully I'll try it out at some point. Nasty Plot. Recover, and you probably go Earth Power and Fickle Beam. Fickle Beam seems weird though. Just the unreliability of the of getting that damage at. Like 160 base power is great, but you might get it when like you're just sacking off something to this, and if Fickle Beam gets the 160 base power boost there, and then you're not going to get it for the rest of the game. I feel like something like that could definitely happen. It has decent enough bulk. It has Regenerator, which like just makes it really good. It's like a really souped up like Alolan Exeggutor. Like it's not. It's like I think Alolan Exeggutor is higher special attack. 125 minimally. It's like if I compare like these two Pokemon, like the bulk is better, like physical bulk, that's a pretty big difference, and it has Regenerator, so it can continuously switch in and out. It's probably pretty decent with Assault Vest, especially with Regenerator. You are gonna get hit by spikes and toxic spikes and all that. It's a very unique Pokemon. So like a slow, like maybe you look at like Dragalge. Now, how would you compare Dragalge? Like, Dragalge is pretty high special attack, and that's boosted because of adaptability. Just makes it its stab move super stronger. But it says, like, also covers the hit steals, which Dragalge doesn't really have. So it's definitely better than Dragalge, though Dragalge having, like, toxic spikes and flip turn and just being a grounded poison, like, also gives it, like, a boost there. So I would probably say it's like, I would say, and recovery on Hydrapple makes it pretty decent. I imagine it's like, you could say it's like a point or two better probably than Dragalge. It's kind of a weird comparison. They're just slow, really good breakers. But Hydrapple has Regenerator. Like Dragalge is better like utility, but Hydrapple, like having Regenerator plus the ability to hit steals, makes it pretty good. I'd probably say like in the 10 to 11 point range. Maybe 11. I think 11 is probably pretty decent for it. But the defensive typing is not that great. So I could see it definitely taken advantage of. Like Gouging, I guess, could be a comparison. I think Gouging is probably pretty low. 10 points. It's better than Gouging. So I think 11 is fine. I don't think I would go 12, though. I think 12 seems not that great. Grass types are, like, defensive grass types are I don't know, kind of weird. Shaman at 9 points, that's probably a little low, though. Okay. Hydrapple seems interesting, though. I don't think it's a Pokemon I would favor towards drafting, though. Unless the hype is there. If the hype is there, I'm always there to please the people. Incineroar. The VGC broken Pokemon. 115 attack and had heavy duty boots. Always good. Close combat. It's a good move. Bulk up. It had bulk up before. Darkest Lariat. It had that before. Knockoff. Had knockoff before. All these moves seem Flame Charge. Seem like they've been here in the past. Low kick might be different, but close combat is fine. Did Incineroar had close combat, right? Yes, it did. Leech Life. It had Leech Life. Parting Shot, obviously a great move on it as well. Parting Shot or U-turn, depending if you wanted to go Assault Vest. But I feel like you just go heavy duty boots with this Pokemon for the most part. Trailblaze. Interesting. Anything in the usually useless area. Fling. So you could fling big nuggets and that's going to hit very hard. Power Trip is a cool... That's cool with like weakness policy. Does this mon have agility? It doesn't have agility. Yeah, Power Trip is cool. Snarl, Feeth. I don't know if I've had Feeth before. That might be an interesting set. Something like that with Intimidate, and you just get a bunch of speed. I think that's 360 speed. That'll be just below like base 115 speed, like Azelf. But that's still fast enough if you wanted to go like something weird like this. And what's HH for doubles? Helping Hand. Gotcha. Yeah, Helping Hand. That's actually super good for doubles. That's actually kind of crazy that it got, because it was already a good support Pokemon anyway. So giving it Helping Hand, like one of the best moves in the game, that's kind of crazy. Now, I feel like I like Emboar generally more than Incineroar, but Intimidate from Incineroar is kind of tough to like, kind of tough to say no to. So Emboar's 11 to 12 point. I probably say like a point lower. I'd probably go like 10 or 11. Yeah, you got your saying 10 or 11 point Pokemon. Yeah, I think 10, 11 point is fair. Intimidate's cool. Parting Shot is cool. Power Trip, you could have like weird sets. Bulk Up sets could even work. Nasty Plot, I don't think I've ever seen that, but I don't think you'd really run that. You can run Scarf, and it would work okay with it. Intimidate plus Parting Shot. Yeah, lower attack's a ton there. Iron Boulder. Oof, another new Pokemon. And I guess are we going to see another Iron Pokemon, or is that the only one? Iron Crown. Okay. Well, Iron Boulder is going to be based off of Tracheon. Rock Psychic type, though. Boulder. Not Iron Bundle. Pretty similar. Iron Boulder. Let's see what this looks like. That's pretty cool looking. I like it. It's very, very similar to Tracheon. I feel like there are like more differences than this, but it's still pretty neat. If you put that on a thumbnail, people will like it. It has agility. The base form had agility as well. Close combat, earthquake, iron defense. So let's see, 124 speed is nutty actually. That's super, super fast. 120 attack plus 124 speed. There's not going to be a lot of Pokemon that are outspeeding that. And like that special defense bulk is also pretty good. Let's see, like in comparison. A slightly lower attack, but having that increased speed and special defense, I think is definitely worth it. Yeah, faster than Cinderace. Is that like Noivern? I have 123. Okay, so faster than Noivern. Close combat, earthquake, iron defense. I don't think iron defense sets are going to be particularly good with Iron Boulder. Iron Head, Mighty Cleave. So that's just bypasses protect. So like Wicked Blow, but like even stronger. Yeah, Iron Valiant. It's also faster than Iron Valiant. And it has Cork Drive, so you can use Booster Energy. So you could Booster Energy speed for sure. Let's see. You should be able to. You can definitely booster your attack. Unfortunately, you're not faster than like base 110 speed. So like Espeon would be faster if you wanted to go like Adamant. But you could definitely go plus speed. It'd be kind of like an attacking Iron Valiant. You can't go special with it. Iron Valiant can go both. Yeah, Mighty Cleave is basically like Urshifu's Wicked Blow, but it's stronger because Wicked Blow is it's weaker now, right? It's 75. So this is 95 power. Poison Jab. So that's like all the coverage of Tracheon. And Tracheon had pretty high attack anyway. I feel like the problem was just the speed and kind of revenge killing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Wicked Blow crit, so it is stronger than Mighty Cleave. But they both bypass protection. Psycho Cut. Does it have a better psychic move? Rock Blast. You can run Loaded Dice, Sword Stance, and Headbutt. So that's like not the greatest psychic coverage. You probably want a better physical move than either of those if you want Stab. But on like you could just go Close Combat and Earthquake and does it get the new rock move? You probably want to run Mighty Cleave, Sword Stance, or Rock Polish. Like whichever one of those two moves you could probably run. You have Quark Drive, so you could always go plus attack or plus speed and have the coverage moves. You could go Scarf, you could go Banded, Life Orb. No rocks. That is a downside, so no Stealth Rocks. No spikes. Not that the original form had spikes anyway. But I get Sword Stance plus agility. So, like, you always have the chance to dual dance either way there. Throat Chop. Mega Horn. Always good to hit psychic types, though you do have Mighty Cleave is pretty good to hit psychic types anyway, but they'll hit them super effectively at least. Electric Terrain, if you really wanted to. Meteor Beam for special sets. 68 special. Special attack is too low. Solar Blade, interesting in Sun, but probably not usable otherwise. What are you guys thinking of the value for this? It can run 252 admin and still get booster speed boost. Yeah, I guess if you wanted to run something like that, you could run something like this. Get the speed while still having pretty decent attack, and like, but you probably want to outspeed base 110 is the thing with this. But if you run like this speed, what's the max you can go out? 140. It's basically like the same amount of attack. So you probably want to run booster speed a lot, but getting an attack boost still pretty good. But if your opponent doesn't have a base 110 speed Pokemon, then going booster attack seems pretty okay. Is it 100% accurate rock move? I thought it was 95 accurate. It is 100%. That is also very clutch. You don't have to rely on Stone Edge missing. 17, 18. Oh, yo. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it is weak to Sucker Punch. That is a downside. I guess it's neutral to Mach. But that's not as prevalent of a move. Still weak to Bullet Punch from Scizor. I imagine it's slightly worse than Iron Valiant. I feel like Iron Valiant is still going to be better. Great Tusk. I think Great Tusk is probably better too. Like it has a better chance to go defensive. You could even run Assault Vest and like probably take like go something like this. Like that doesn't even look that bad. I'd probably go at least, I think 17 probably sounds right. Maybe 18, and if somebody's Pokemon might move up, like if if Q becomes 19 and Dragapult becomes 20, then maybe it's like an 18.1. I think 17, 18 seems pretty good. It doesn't really take advantage of the psychic typing. Like, that's kind of fair. Like, your stabs on the psychic side are not that great. Like Zen Headbutt. And, like, you're not going to get stabbed from close combat anymore. So having, like, stab at close combat is pretty clutch. So, like, your close combat's going to be hitting 50% weaker. So it's not really a Terrakion with more speed. It functions differently. it probably lowers what I think of the Pokemon in general. I think 16, 17 is probably pretty good. I think 18 is like with all these Pokemon, I think they're all going to be better. If you had like a better Psychic Stab outside of Zen Headbutt, then I think I'd probably consider making it a little bit higher. The speed is quite good though, and the attack is quite good. So I'd probably say 17 point. Yeah, 16 to 18 point range I think is fine for this Pokemon. And now we have the other Iron Pokemon. I think this is was it the Cobalion form? Iron Crown. Now it looks like Cobalion, Steel Psychic. Steel Psychic seems that's pretty good typing. With Quark Drive, so Electric Terrain boosted. It has that's just good stats. I mean, outside the attack. So hopefully this is a more specially attacking based Pokemon. You can go plus speed and have the booster energy speed here. That's always good. But though your special attack that's not like this is like okay special attack. You could definitely make something like this set work, assuming it has like special attacking coverage. It's basically Bronzong. Meta grows too. Yeah, Bronzong has the immunity to Earthquake, which is pretty great. But you can boost. You could boost in any 4 of these stats. But I imagine it's probably either going to be special attack or speed. Maybe a cool Assault Vest user here as well, if it has like pretty good attacks. Let's see. Agility, so it can set up. Expanding Force, probably not that great of a move, especially with Quark Drive. You probably want to be an Electric Terrain over like Indeedee support. Flash Cannon, Focus Blast. These all seem like moves that I've seen before. There's got to be some new move. Psychic Noise is fine. Steel Beam, Stored Power. It has Supercell Slam. That's interesting. So you could use that in Electric Terrain, but its physical attack is pretty bad. Sword Stance, Volt Switch. That's cool that it has that. No Rocks. That's like a thing that you see right away. It's like oof, that like lowers the value by quite a bit. Having like a steel type without rocks, it's pretty tough. I think that's why Klefki, for example, is like lower point values, and I feel like it should be. It gets spikes, which is like good for it. Nothing here that looks weird yet. Solar Blade. Okay, this move is weird. Tachyon Cutter hits twice. So basically, a 100 base power steel move that has perfect accuracy. So like better than Flash Cannon. Seems fine. Nothing special though. This seems better than Cobalion for sure. This definitely seems worse than Iron Boulder. But the steel typing is like great. It's pretty hard to like be upset about. And like these stats are really good. You could go weakness policy pretty easily on this. Here's weakness policy. When I did like a pseudo Uber League and had a Solgaleo. So Solgaleo is also Psychic Steel. Now these stats are like 137 attack is crazy, but this mon could easily go Flame Charge, weakness policy, and then whatever 3 moves you wanted, and like I could get 6 kills every week pretty easily. So you could go agility, weakness policy. Let's see, agility and Tachyon Cutter, weakness policy. Probably go like Psychic for stab. Is there any move that had steals? Focus Blast. Not a great move to rely on. Is there anything better than that? No. I mean, so like this set could definitely work. It's kind of weird that it doesn't have. It only has Volt Switch and Supercell Slam, so it doesn't have electric coverage. With it like operating in Quark Drive, that kind of seems weird. Yeah, and no rocks makes it unfortunate. Solgaleo could also Morning Sun, which that just made him on super broken, in especially like in a Uber Plus league or like a OU Plus Uber league, draft league. And this doesn't have any recovery. This is a weird Pokemon. It has stored power, which you could run that on sets as well, like agility, weakness policy. With this, like, let's the Pokemon aren't even in the calculator yet. So let's see. So Solgaleo. Let's see if I can simulate this. 122. It's actually pretty similar stats here. 98. So if you get like a not 198. 98. Okay. So +2, +2, +2. Stored power. And then it's a flash cannon, basically, with 100 base power. Max, we can call it. That's a pretty cool calc right there. Right? Like, in 62 to 73% to physically defensive Corviknight. If you're able to get, like, a agility boost. Agility weakness policy boost. Seems pretty interesting. Now, Terra fighting, and like Terra Blast would be interesting, but I'm under the assumption that like this monster could be way too good to Terra, so that's actually not gonna be a thing. But something like a set like that could definitely work out. And then you have Focus Blast. I mean, you'll probably miss, but I guess Tachyon Cutter at least is like that's definitely like a pretty decent attack to just have. Like if something resists stored power, like that's pretty decent stab. Again, definitely not as good as Iron Boulder. Iron Hands, maybe that's a comparison. Like that mon is pretty bulky. I think this mon is super underrated though, is the thing. I feel like it fits around this 14-point tier fine. Especially like if you go weakness policy, that seems really good. You could go at Solve Vest, but it not having rocks is quite unfortunate. But it having Volt Switch is that's also a plus. I'm gonna say 14 points for Iron Crown. And what do we have Cobalion? Cobalion we had at 12, 13 points. I think that's honestly fair. Because it did keep Stealth-Rocks, and Stealth-Rocks is that's a pretty big difference there. But Iron Crown is definitely cool. And obviously you can just run Booster Energy. Like sets like that'll be good. Shuckleberry. Does it get Calm Mind? It does have Calm Mind too. So that is another way. You could just run Calm Mind with these sets. Doesn't get Draining Kiss, no. Or like anything for recovery right away. Swords Dance, you might be able to run in niche matchups, but probably not. Physical moves, Heavy Slam, Psycho Cut. They're like borderline fine, but probably not Physical Iron Crown. That would have to be a crazy matchup to run that. Alright, it's cool to see these new Pokemon. And like genuinely, like I knew those Pokemon existed, but I didn't even know what their typings were. I have no idea. Keldeo. And there's different forms, right? I think they get slightly different moves. Probably doesn't matter too much. I'm going to say 14/15 for that Pokemon. Keldeo. Cool Pokemon. I feel like bulky waters are not as prevalent, which could make this Pokemon better. Air Slash, Aquasphere, or Aurasphere. It had those. Chilling Water, I think, is a new move. Probably not going to run it. Flip Turn. That's cool. Flip Turn on the sets. It had that, though. Icy Wind, Poison Jab, go Swords Dance still, right? Swords Dance Keldeo is always an option. Reflect, but no Light Screen. Sacred Sword, Secret Sword. Swords Dance, Trailblaze. Trailblaze always a fun option. This Pokemon is really good clicking Specs Hydro Pump. Or Specs Focus Blast, or Sphere if you want something weaker. I don't see anything that's... and Vacuum Wave. Vacuum Wave is cool for priority. And it looks like it's doing the same stuff that it always has, though. So I feel like 14 points, maybe 15 points. Galarian Zapdos, it's probably about as good as Galarian Zapdos. Probably a little bit better than Azumarill. 14, 15. I think that's fine for this Pokemon. Yeah, the difference is Secret Sword. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's like a good... If it's like the third or fourth best Pokemon on your team, that's probably good enough. But sometimes the coverage can like take over it, like make it not as good as what it could be. You don't have hidden power in this game, and it's gonna be way too good to actually Terra with. Brawl Terra Blast might not be that bad coverage though. They hit grass types if you don't want to mess with Focus Blast, but you probably always would run around it. Kingdra. Give a boost to Rain. Rain is finally back. I feel like we overpriced all of the weather stuff last season. I think because people were scared of Drew's Sun team, which is definitely fair. All right, Kingdra. Dragon Dance or physical set's gonna be any better? Probably get Scale Shot, right? Flip Turn. I feel like I had Flip Turn in the past. Scald. So Kingdra has Scald. And Keldeo didn't get Scald, right? It doesn't have Scald. So that makes it probably more towards the 14-point range. If it had Scald, it probably bumps it up a point, honestly. Like you could, if you go for Scald and wear down like your resist over time, that's pretty nice to have that combination there. The Scald is good on this. It's honestly not even that good of a buff on Kingdra. You always want to run Hydro Pump or Surf if you're going to be in Rain. Surf just hits harder than Scald, so you want to run Surf if you want a 100% accurate water move. Wave Crash, okay. So Wave Crash does give viability to... that gives quite a bit of viability to physical Kingdra sets. Huh. This Pokemon is... Now, physical sets are probably worse because Wave Crash, like, you just have a lot of recoil damage that you have to take from that. It could Dragon Dance and definitely be... that's definitely interesting, huh? Wave Crash is actually a huge difference. To have Waterfall, that's 50% stronger, Wave Crash. Weather Ball, too. Did Kingdra have Weather Ball in the past? It didn't. Okay. So Weather Ball is just, that's just a stronger Surf. So like Rain Dance. Hydro Pump is only 10% stronger, but it could have a chance to miss. That's not even probably worth it to run. Maybe something like that. For like a special set. Ice Beam plus Hurricane. It's going to be too good to Terra, so that wouldn't be like a consideration there. You can run Drake and Meteor, I guess, if you want any of those slots, but you don't want to lower your special attack generally. Does it get Scale Shot? It does get Scale Shot. There's a lot of cool stuff that this Kingdra has. A lot of cool stuff. Has no escape. I don't think that's not worth it for anything. Still has Sniper, so you can go for critical hit chances. I don't know if there's any move that has a high critical hit rate with Kingdra. But has more versatility to go physical. Yeah, Sniper plus Focus Energy plus Scale Shot. I don't know. Sniper plus Focus Energy. Did it get Trailblaze? No. But Scale Shot is what you run. I don't know where to place Kingdra. It seems very good. I'd have to look back on where it was typically put. I feel like 13-point range seems pretty good for Kingdra. I don't know. It's also a Kingdra. Like the attack is base 95. That's not that great. Water Dragon is a pretty good defensive typing. You're weak to Dragon and Fairy. But Water is a good defensive typing, and Dragon I think is fine in conjunction with it. Like you're not weak to Electric or Grass, but now you're neutral to Ice. But I think that's a good trade-off there. Yeah, Kingdra seems interesting. Maybe 12 points, 13 points. It seems fine for the Pokemon. You could go maybe Dragon Pulse. I don't know if you wanted to run Drake and Meteor on Kingdra sets. You could in the rain, and then just switch out later. Especially if you have like Politoed or Pelipper on the team. I think that could work out. I'd probably say 13 points is fair. And you're going to pair with Rain, and it should work out quite well. Ooh, Kyurem. Here we go. This is a Pokemon I like. Might be a Pokemon I want to try. One sec. Couple Cheez-Its. Alright, Kyurem. I hope you guys been enjoying this, by the way. And let me know what stuff you want me to try out, but I still got to go through all this Pokemon first. But I was saying it's already 6:30 EST. So you said we were gonna go through the M's, and then I guess tomorrow I'll do a stream for the rest of the Pokemon. I mean, there's still a whole even once I go through this entire list, I know all of these Pokemon got new moves, right? So I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a 3-part stream. It's going to take forever, but I'm enjoying this quite a bit. Seeing all these new Pokemon in here and talking to you guys, so that's been great. Heavy duty boots, always great. Body press, not great defense, so, well, all these stats are very good, so that's tough to say it's not great. Dragon Dance, Earth Power I had before. Focus Blast I had before. Freeze Dry made it super, super good last gen. Freeze Dry plus Ice Beam. Tough to resist it. It has Dragon Dance. Yeah, I would like to try a VGC Draft League at some point, DD Gaming. I did a tournament a couple years ago with it's called UDL. UDL is a Pokemon Draft League that's on Showdown. That's the only Pokemon League I do. That's I only do Wi-Fi stuff now, and then I'll do UDL when we have a new season. And we don't run them particularly often. I think we've ran 5 seasons, and I joined season 2. So I've done it for most of the league's existence. But it's run by Matty Brolick. He's he at least was a former like pretty mainstream Smogon person. He did Draft League on YouTube for a while. Probably about the same size channel as I had back in the day. I think he was in GBA at some point, but he runs the league with Carson, and there's like Gypsy King will do it, Zazo will do it. They help out Pokegame every week, and a bunch of other people. Finchinator's done it, so he's on the OU cancel. CBB has done it. Watashi has done it. They're all Smogon people. There's a couple Smogon people I'm forgetting, but like they're people that you wouldn't associate with draft. You associate them with like high OU play. Roses has done it as well, and there's also like other draft league Smogon players that have done it. So we had a doubles tournament one off season, and that was very cool to draft for that. Like a totally different mindset there. I came in third place in the tourney, which I was very happy about. I think Sebi didn't win it. He was a nationals player for VGC. I think he came in second. Zazo I think ended up winning the tournament actually, but that was cool. I had like Driftblim on the team. That was a cool Pokemon. Driftblim plus like Landorus. Landorus is usually seen as pretty broken. Like Kyurem Black I had on the team as well. Ally Switch is a very good move though. That was if I've learned anything from playing in that doubles tournament is that Ally Switch is a stupid move. And I also learned that Dusclops is a very annoying Pokemon. There were the two things I learned. Icicle Spear, it's good physical coverage. I feel like last generation Kyurem wasn't banned, but Kyurem Black was banned, so it's probably going to be the same case here. Especially if you have an Icicle Spear plus Scale Shot. Like Icicle Spear plus Scale Shot. Dragon Dance. Loaded Dice. This seems pretty good. I don't know if what people have been thinking about Kyurem is in terms of like whether it should ban worthy or not. That seems quite good. As well, it can just go like generally defensive with pressure and just go freeze dry. Dragon Tear is not really a move. Glaciate is neat even to lower speed. Probably not going to run that a whole lot, but that's a cool option that I have ran in the past. If I'm really worried about something to try to set up speed on me. It looks otherwise the same as before, minus Toxic. So like not having Toxic, you would want Toxic on like this was a set that you would run in the past. Something like this. Subroost, Toxic, Freeze Drive. I guess you could even run Protect, I guess in lieu of that, or Dragon Pulse, or you can run Dragon Tail as well. If you have spikes on the team and such. I mean, with 125, 130 attack, that's basically the same attack as Garchomp with Scale Shot. So, like, both those Pokemon with Scale Shot. Now, this Pokemon doesn't have Sword Stance. It has Dragon Dance, so Garchomp can set up Sword Stances better. But Kyurem... No, I had Garchomp last season that I could have ran like Loaded Dice Sword Stance with quite a bit. I felt like it always being super weak to Ice and Fairy was pretty tough. Even if I got a +1 speed boost, you could always run like a low tier Raichu that has Terra Blast Fairy and just kill me. I felt like that was tough. Kyurem has better bulk. So I feel like you might be able to get away with Loaded Dice Scale Shot sets a little bit better with Kyurem, especially because it also has Icicle Spear. Now, Garchomp with Earthquake is also, like, that's pretty comparable in terms of power output. And Garchomp also has the option to go with Stealth Rocks and Spikes to give it, like, versatility for the team. But Kyurem has Roost. Does it not have Roost? Oh, Roost is illegal. That makes Kyurem a lot worse. Huh. That was like an assumption that it has Roost. So, like, I was assuming it was going to be borderline broke. It's definitely not broken if it doesn't have Roost. But, like, Icicle Spear plus Scale Shot, that's still hitting pretty decent damage. With Dragon Dance as well. But I think it's worse in Garchomp if it doesn't have Roost. So in that instance, I'd probably put it at 17. I think 17 is fair for it. Maybe even 16. I'm actually thinking 16 point. Freeze Dry is still really nice, and having heavy duty boots and just having a Freeze Dry plus Ice Beam. Huh. I had to. This is weird. It doesn't have Roost. That makes it a lot worse. But at the same time, having Icicle Spear plus Scale Shot, that's like really cool versatility there. $15 point. I'm actually thinking this Pokemon is a lot worse without Roost. In the past, Kyurem was like, in like Generation 6, it was like a 12, 13 point mon. And that was because it didn't have Freeze Dry. Let me see. Generation 6. Kyurem. It had Roost in that gen. Why was Kyurem more? Oh, Kyurem was worse because there was no boots. That's why Kyurem was like a 12, 13 point mon in like Generation 6. Because while it had good coverage and it had hidden power, I still liked Kyurem in Generation 6, but not having boots means you took 25% damage every time you switched in. That was tough. So boots is definitely good on this Pokemon, but not having recovery makes it definitely not great. But the option to go special or physical seems pretty good. I'm thinking 15 is probably fine. Like on a level of an Infernape, which we have at 16, but it's probably really a 15 point Pokemon. It's probably comparable to Mamoswine. Like, even though Mamoswine has rocks, like, the ability to go mixed or sweeper with Kyurem is probably putting it at like 15 point range. Yeah, no Roost is pretty bad for the Pokemon, though. That makes it from like a borderline broken sweeper to, it's pretty good as like, it'll be an okay second best mon on your team from like a premier Pokemon. Now Kyurem Black, it's banned in OU, and like that's 170 attack. That is significantly more. I'm a goat. I know I'm a goat name. You don't have to tell me that. But yeah, I'm trying to catch up. I'm learning everything. How long's this stream been going? 2-3 hours. The thing was, I didn't want to play through the game because I thought, which was probably a dumb assumption, but I thought I could just play right into DLC 2. That's definitely not true. I'd have to play DLC 1 first and then the DLC 2. I was like, I ain't got time for that crap. But we're going strong here, and I haven't lost power, so that is also a plus. We got Kyurem Black is probably too good with Dragon Dance. It doesn't have Roost. No Roost, so it's not gonna be able to like continuously bulk, because like pretty decent bulk here, especially with heavy duty boots. But if you're running heavy duty boots, that's oh, it's less than 2 hours. Ah, okay. That is not bad, but I'll play it the DLC at some point. But yeah, you'd go Dragon Dance, Icicle Spear, Scale Shot, and Fusion Bolt. You want Ice plus Electric coverage is pretty good, plus an ability to boost your speed. I imagine this Pokemon is going to be too good. You would run loaded dice if you run something like this to have the strong Dragon plus strong Ice. I got you. Nice. Yeah, you'll have to. You could go through the stream, I guess, to see, but I have notes for everything. So, general thoughts about Pokemon. Again, this is just me like theory mining, looking at all these Pokemon. So I'm gonna have to like actually play with some of these Pokemon and see how good they actually are. But we'll see. I don't know how based or how bad my opinions are going to be based on just looking at all this. But I'm very excited for SPL 2. Very excited for that. Free Shack. Yeah, I feel like Kyurem Black's going to be too good. 170 attack is quite strong. Kyurem Black. What is this set? Let's go like max. It has Dragon Dance too. So +1, we'll say to like Slowbro, which is like a pretty physically defensive Pokemon. So you're doing like 70 to 80% to Slowbro. And Slowbro is obviously not doing a whole lot back. Scale Shot with loaded dice. At +1, you're doing 50 to 60%. And if you're hitting with 5, that's a ton of damage to a Slowbro. That's like one of the most physically defensive Pokemon out there. So I think Kyurem Black is going to be banned. It doesn't look like it got anything notable new in the game, but I think it's going to be too good. It does have to decide whether it's going to go loaded dice or if you're going to go boots. If you go boots, then your attack's not going to be as high, and you don't have recovery with Roost. It might actually be okay, right? Like, no Roost makes it kind of hard to function. And Dragon Dance, while it's strong and you're getting +1, it's probably too strong. You could just run Outrage or just run Dragon Claw. You have Iron Head. You still have Iron Head. Icicle Sphere's hitting decently. But no Roost on Kyurem, it just changes the whole dynamic of the Pokemon. Especially the regular Kyurem form. That's like, huh. Like, it had so many cool sets last generation. With it having boots as well, but no Roost. Like, you just resort to regular Kyurem at least. Like, you just run boots. And you can run Dragon Dance, and, like, that's okay. It's probably worse than doing that than just a Garchomp, though. But that's still, like, that's still a pretty high bar to set. But you can ignore hazards and such. So I don't know. Kyurem might be okay. I'd have to, like, play with the Pokemon. Well, it's actually banned in OU, so I can't even play with it that easily. But it's probably safe to say that because it wasn't allowed, it could also Terra. So that's kind of hard to, like, compare OU versus Draft, because you can actually Terra these Pokemon. So it's tough to say, like, just because OU banned the Pokemon that we should ban it as well. I don't know if Terra puts Kyurem Black over the top in OU. I'd have to try it out. I'm going to say it's tough to say with Kyurem Black. Kyurem White, I'm not going to even look at. We got a Go Pokemon here, Lanturn. Lanturn is good in, like, when Tornadus was, like, the best Pokemon in Draft League, or close to it in Generation 8. Like, Lanturn was basically a full stop to it. Because Grass Knot was super weak against it. Nasty Plot sets aren't going to do anything. Lanturn is, like, surprisingly good against quite a few top-tier threats. So hopefully Lanturn, like, kept pretty cool stuff. Oh, so what was the, you banned Dragon Dance and Kyurem Black and allowed it for max cost? That is fair. I don't know if, we would do something complex with that. Kyurem's weird. I'm sure we'll talk about it for sure. But Water Bubble and Terra do stack. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, obviously I haven't tried that out yet. So maybe it's gonna. I think it's probably better just to Terra ban Araquanid if we're gonna keep it at 9 points. That's probably pretty tough if it does stack, because like with like Basculegion, the adaptability didn't really stack with Terra. It was still very good with Terra, but It didn't instack, so it wasn't as broken, but if Water Bubble doubles it, that sounds kind of crazy. But a Pokemon that can handle Araquanid pretty well is Lanturn. Because it has Water Absorb and Volt Absorb. So its weaknesses are Ground and Grass. But Ground types, obviously your Water types, you're hitting it for pretty decent damage. Flip Turn. Did it have Flip Turn in the past? It did not have Flip Turn. It had Volt Switch, obviously, so that's good. But you're blocked to opposing ground types if you wanted to be super aggressive. I get it doesn't really help against like Gastrodon, which blocks both Volt Switch and Flip Turn, and you don't have any grass coverage here. It's gonna be Terra like access, so you could easily run grass on it. It has Scald, so Lanturn having Scald is that's always a boon for it. Having Scald is good. Have Sucker Punch. That's a cheeky move that I've ran in the past for sure. Rest it has what I'd say. Oh, Flip Turn. Yep. But I think you're gonna run Volt Twitch for the most part anyway on Lanturn. But I guess Flip Turn is definitely a positive. Electric Terrain, if you really wanted to like boost one of the legendary mons. And it's gonna have Terra access. I feel like you'd probably go Terra Grass a lot of the time. You could go Terra. I mean, Terra Fairy's always free to run. And even something I might bring up with. There's is Terra Fairy too good? I think that's a general thought that like Terra Fairy's really free to run on a lot of Pokemon. It might be something interesting to like say that only one Pokemon on your team can have Terra Fairy access if it doesn't have Stab already. I don't know, but Terra Fairy just seems like by far the best Terra type, and like we could probably go through the last doc and probably at least 75-80% of all teams had a Terra Fairy user on it, which is probably by far the highest out of any other typing. You had 3, yeah, and a Delphox was obviously great with Terra Fairy. Because, like, your high point Pokemon are going to normally be Dragon. So, like, that's what made Garchomp, I feel like, not as great, because you could just get a, like, if you're Scale Shot, Earthquake, that's cool and all. You get a +1 speed boost, and then just Terra Fairy just kills you. And I guess you have to either run Resist Berry, or Ice also killed you. Like, Garchomp was kind of weird with having a lot of fast, low Terra people. Oh, thank you so much, Thrill Shocker. That's interesting. Oh, all 3 of yours had Fairy to see. And yeah, in addition to Delphox, too. And Delphox having Fairy probably was the... would put it over the edge from being too good for Terra Fairy. Yeah, so maybe we like restrict Terra Fairy access, but I also know that there's Terra Stellar, and I know that was something MV was talking about. I have no idea what it does. The Stellar, I know it like makes your it's like you have like no resistances, or it's like always hits neutral. Yeah, Stellar types are super effective against other Terra Pokemon. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know how broken that is. Oh, BBR Spathra. That's also not... Well, yeah. You work with Dylan, so Dylan knew the power of Terra Fairy Spathra like very early on in the metagame. He was able to identify that was quite a strong Pokemon, and I think OU followed course pretty quickly on that. But back to Lanturn, it's probably a pretty good solid 6, 7, 8 points. We can compare to what else is out there. It's pretty unique in like the water type it has. Like Quagsire, does it have similar comparability to Quagsire? Quagsire is probably better. It has spikes, rocks, toxic spikes, unaware. It's probably worse. It's probably 7, but it's a very good Pokemon. And I think with Terra Access, it's having Terra... I feel like Terra Grass is probably going to be pretty good with Lanturn. To resist grass type and resist ground type. And to give you a grass coverage move to hit ground types with, like to hit like Gastrodon or Quagsire with like a grass move. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's see. We got Latias. Okay. A couple hard hitters here in Latias and Latios. Is Soul doing the game? It is in the game, so that's always a benefit it has. 1.2 times power. Back in Generation 6, Soul do at 1 point. It was 1.5, right? Generation 6 OU. Soldo was 1.5 power, which was basically a choice specs. That was kind of nutty. That was definitely banned in draft leagues back then. Latios got flip turn. Ooh, okay, nice. Agility. So Latios is cool with agility, weakness policy sets. And it got stored power last generation. So like something like this could work very well with it. And you could run maybe like max HP and be a lot bulkier. Because if you're getting +2 speed from agility, you're still going to, even if you're something like this, you're going to outspeed basically everything in the game. So that was always a cool option it had. It does not have defog. So that definitely lowers the defensive utility from Latios. Does it still have Roost or Recover? It has Recover. So still Recovery. And does it have Healing Wish? Still has Healing Wish. That's like the main reason, honestly, you want to get Latios is for Healing Wish. Healing Wish is at least a top 3 move in the game. I don't know. You say like, would it be like Stealth Rocks, Toxic, and Healing Wish might be the 3 best moves? I don't know. It'd be interesting to do that list. But Healing Wish is quite good to heal up a Pokemon when you don't expect it. I guess Revival Blessing is also great, but we did not allow it last season, and we're probably not going to allow it this season. I don't know if anything new got Revival Blessing. But no feed, defog, has Healing Wish, and Recover. So that's still pretty good. Losing defog is unfortunate, but you just focus on more offensive sets. Latios is usually better going offensive sets because it has 130 special attack as opposed to 110. Still has Aura Sphere. That's good to hit steel types. Alluring Voice. Having fairy coverage is probably good, though I don't know what it hits necessarily because you're already hitting fighty types, obviously, because you're psychic. I guess it hits dark types. So you have Alluring Voice or Aura Sphere for dark types. So that's just another option that it has. Latios always have great coverage. And it has Calm Mind still. Yes, it still has Calm Mind. It probably has a new psychic move. The one that prevents healing. Oh, Mist Ball. What is this? 50% chance to lower special attack by 1. That's been in the game, right? But is it stronger now? Mist Ball. Mist Ball is 95 base power. Oh, it used to be 70 base power. Okay. So now it's Mist Ball 95. So that's quite a big buff. APP is probably okay. Mist Ball. So that seems like a pretty good buff for Latios. Like both raising your special attack with Calm Mind with Mist Ball. Alluring Voice you could go, or Dragon Pulse on a bulkier set, whatever. And Recover. Probably you still want to run Psychic. You might run out of PP too quickly with Mist Ball. It's not as spammable if you're going to go on a Calm Mind set, but like on just a regular attacking set. Like Mist Ball, like if it's Choice Scarf, there's no reason to not run Mist Ball over Psychic. You could run Psyshock still, obviously, to go on the physical defensive side. Reflect type is also cool. Anything else that's a notable change? Latios got flip turn. Ooh. I like the sound of that. Luster Purge, that's on the other Pokemon. I think Luster Purge is going to be quite good. Hello, Ellie. How's everything going in Stitch? Latias seems like it was like a 15, 16 point mon before. Losing Defog is quite unfortunate. I think it's still going to be very good. Is it better than an Amorous? I would say yes. I used an Amorous last season. The problem with an Amorous was 106 speed is not fast enough. 110 speed is like the new 100 speed. Like in the past, I feel like you could get away. Like 100 speed was like, if you had anything over 100 speed, that was like pretty good. But now you're gonna have all these Pokemon are in the game now, and Amorous is sitting there too. So it's gonna be now slower than Tracheon, Keldeo. Like you're gonna get OHKO'd by Tracheon. Keldeo is gonna to a KO with Hydro Pump. Cobalion outspeeds you and kills you with Iron Head. It's just another thing that makes it tough for an Amorous. But an Amorous was quite good spamming moves. But you really want something over to 110 space speed tier, especially with Latios and Latios in the game. So Latios sitting at base 100 speed, 110 speed probably makes it better than an Amorous. I think it's probably better than all these Pokemon here. I probably put Latios at 17, 18, kind of surprisingly. I feel like Defog is a pretty big drop off, but having basically everything else, a move that can hit dark types better, say if it's like a dark type that's neutral to fighting, what would that be? Dark. There's probably something that's neutral to fighting. Maybe there actually isn't many. So maybe the fairy coverage isn't that important. I guess Mandibuzz, that'd be a Pokemon that you could hit with Alluring Voice super effectively, as opposed to relying on Aura Sphere. But you do have Thunderbolt to also hit Mandibuzz. So maybe Alluring Voice isn't that big of a deal, but it's good to have fairy coverage. Yeah, I'm thinking like 17, 18 points for Latios. Does it have Draining Kiss? It does have Draining Kiss. That's very sneaky too. Yeah, because base 80 HP is not the highest, so you could definitely take advantage of getting good recovery out of Draining Kiss. And Draining Kiss. I think 17, 18 points is probably pretty good for Latios. Big Root Draining Kiss? That'd be crazy if Big Root like increased your recovery for your like recovery moves increased by 30% as well. Will that be worth it over leftovers or boots? Maybe. I don't know. Alright, this guy's probably trash. Latios. Aura Sphere is nice to hit steel types. I had that last generation. Baton Pass for momentum, but people said it got flip turn. Yeah, so that's pretty good. 90 attack isn't terrible. And it has Dragon Dance. You could like low-key go physical Latios. 90 isn't the greatest, but it's definitely an option you can go for. An Earthquake, another option to hit steel types. Hit Heatran. Future Sight's going to be hitting hard off 130 special attack. And there you go, Luster Purge. 50% chance to lower special defense. So, let's see. Latios. We'll give it Soldo. Luster Purge, which is basically Psychic, but with slightly more power, so it's 95 base power. What's a good Pokemon? That's like a usually not Mandibuzz. What's a good special defensive wall I can use as comparison here? What's a pretty good answer? Corviknight's going to be good regardless. The special defense drop's not going to matter too much. High special defense. Florges? That seems like a good answer. So let's say Florges, you would imagine, would be a pretty good answer into Latios for the most part. So say if you have Soldew, Life Orb hits a little bit harder. So you do 40% of Florges if it's just max physical defensive. Then you lower the special defense by 1. And that's looking like basically a 2-hit KO if you get that first special defense drop. And if like the Florges wants to like protect, they're guaranteed to stay in range. What's stopping you from going for like a Calm Mind on a turn that protects to make sure it's out of range of that -1 Spit F and then hit you with Moonblast? You can just Calm Mind up there, and now you're hitting super, super strong. The Luster Purge, that's a big. But also, you could just flip turn on Florges. So like if Florges is your answer, I mean, one is Psyshock is always good. To handle especially defensive Pokemon. Like Psyshock can always get through that, unless it's like a dark type like Umbreon or something like that. Would be a pretty good answer. But there you go. +1 Aura Sphere is a 2-hit KO on Umbreon. That's kind of crazy. But even if it is a special defense full, you just go flip turn and then go into whatever Pokemon you want, your Emboar. And then you're going to kill whatever your dark type resist is, your fairy resist. You can find an easy thing. The new steel type, the iron, what's it? Iron Crown. Go switch right into that. That'd be a pretty cool combination there. Iron Crown with Latios, both psychic types, but Latios probably lost Defog as well. Kept your cover. Luster Purge seems super good. Memento's not as good as Healing Wish. I mean, this is a top tier threat. Psychic Noise, probably not that good. You hit so hard already that you don't want to sacrifice that base power hit. You just run Psychic, or probably Psyshock or Luster Purge. You could run Calm Mind sets on Latios and probably get away with Luster Purge. I feel like it might be a little bit harder with Latios. You probably just want to keep the bulk and maybe keep Psychic for the PP. It really depends. Did he get any other useless moves? I think we're probably Scale Shot. So, like, Dragon Dance, Scale Shot. It's not even that unviable to go physical. You can't really go physical with Latios. Scale Shot, Loaded Dice. That might be a set. I don't know. Max point value, if it's going to be 19 point, maybe even a 20 point tier could be possible. Registeel is it's a pretty good answer to Latios. What is let's see. And I know that's reference for Luster Purge before. Registeel, Earthquake. What is this Registeel crap? Registeel. There you go. +1 Earthquake. Probably give it Jolly. 2-hit KO and Registeel. That seems pretty good. Yeah. Latios is going to be... It's right up there with Iron Man and Dragapult. Dragapult still might be better. Dragapult's always good. What do we got next? Lugia, Lunala, probably too strong. Magmortar, I don't think it's going to be too strong. You could probably throw Magmar in there. Electabuzz is a lot better because it's not weak to rocks. Magmortar, Flame Body, always a cool ability. Joey knows that from Heatran. Heatran has Flame Body as well. Obviously a lot better defense, and you don't have to run Boots on Heatran. If you're going to run like a defensive Magmortar, you obviously want Boots, but that's not the set you bring. You could bring special attacking sets. Belly Drum is an option. It might be hard to pull off, but it's definitely possible. So I assume it keeps Mach Punch still. It has knockoff. Did Magmortar have knockoff before? It did not. That's actually pretty cool. Magmortar having knockoff. Yeah, you could even run that on special sets if you really wanted to. Might have a really high special attack, 125. You probably doesn't want to run 4 special moves if you're going to run like boots and a lot of coverage. It's probably going to be tiered enough to where it could probably Terra. So Magmortar with Terra seems pretty good. It's like baby Delphox. Just slower. Yeah, this seems like a really cool Terra option. Earthquake. Focus Blast, Knockoff, Low Kick. Did it get Low Kick in the past? It did. Its physical attack is very bad, so that's not something you're going to run too much. Again, unless you run a Belly Drum, which it still did keep, so that's always cool. Belly Drum, Mach Punch, Fire Punch. You probably don't want to run Flare Blitz to lower your HP even more. Scorching Sand's always cool to hit Magmortar. Weather Ball is cool on Sun teams. Even like opposing Rain. I guess it gives you a water move that you can run. I don't see anything else that's that impactful here. Yeah. I mean, I think we could put this right at like probably 8 points. Flame Charge 3 attacks. That sounds pretty good too. Yeah, no armor cannon. I mean, looks like a cannon. Looks like a fire type. Looks like it makes a lot of sense to me. But I would say like 8 points, and it's probably around like one of the best Terra options there. Like I think having like a really strong nuke, kind of like Exeggutor. Where do we have Exeggutor from before? At 6, but 6 Exeggutor is interesting with growth and being able to go in Sun. And Alolan Exeggutor we had at 6. That's like a special breaker. The speed difference with Magmortar, giving it a couple extra points, I think is justified there. You can always just go specs, not even worry about Stealth Rocks. And 125 special attack, Terra Blast Fire, Overheat. What's switching into that? Probably not much. I mean, let's see. Modest. Choice specs. Terra Fire. Overheat. We'll go like Melodic. Melodic will probably eat it, but it's not going to eat it that well. It eats it pretty well. But then it gets Thunderbolt and you could 2 KO it. So, yeah, that's pretty neat. I think like 8 points for Magmortar. Hits very hard. Malamar? Okay. These are some not as interesting Pokemon. It has Baton Pass. Oh, Magmar? So what? It got knockoff. That makes it better. Probably 2-3 points. I don't really remember where we had Magmar in the past. It's probably a point better than where we had it tiered before. With knockoff. Knockoff is a pretty big addition. Did Malamar have Baton Pass before? It did. Malamar is a pretty niche Pokemon to run in general. As long as you keep Superpower and Contrary and then, like, Knockoff, Psycho Cut, or, I don't know, Zen Headbutt, something like that, you can make it work. Infiltrator, you would always want to run Contrary in something like this. You could run Calm Mind, I guess. Dark Psychic is an okay typing, but you're 4 times weak to U-Turn, which is pretty unfortunate. Lunge. Lunge is probably a new move. Nasty Plot? Did Malamar have Nasty Plot before? It's probably too slow for it to be that good anyway. It did have it. Shows how much they've used Malamar in the past. Psychic Noise, probably not worth it. Store Power was cool. Calm Mind. Switcheroo, Taunt. Basically just done same stuff. That's an interesting mechanic. So, yeah, that's an interesting thing, Joey, with Stellar Terra getting the special and attack boost. Huh. Still don't think it's probably that great of a Pokemon though. Trailblaze would be interesting if it kept Contrary, but you're going to be lowering your speed. As I learned this past season, you want to have Contrary and speed boosting is not a good combination, especially like on an Enamorus or something like that. If you go Trick Room, maybe Trick Room, Trailblaze, Contrary, knockoff. That could work, right? I don't think much else with this Pokemon. It's probably like, I feel like in the 4 or 5 point range, it's probably fine with it. That's probably a fair status ditch, but not a whole lot of Pokemon have Contrary anyway. But yeah, the speed boost with Contrary and Stellar would be the draw point. But you could be Scarf Malamar, I guess. We can go over Swampert later. Meganium, the original Mega Pokemon. I probably didn't get anything that's worth it. Meganium's always thirsty for something to make it good. Has Encore. There you go. That might make it more than a 1-point Pokemon. Knockoff. I feel like that's a new move as well. Like, what do you? I don't know how you would knock off. You're a dinosaur, right? I don't see the capability of this Pokemon using knockoff somehow, but it needed some type of buff, so I guess we'll go with that. Dragon Tail. Swords Dance has had that. Maybe Trailblaze. Really pushing the boundaries of trying to justify that this Pokemon's any good. Bullet Seed doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything else to take advantage of loaded dice. I'm not really seeing anything. Poison Powder. It can poison, though it's not as good if it's not toxic poison. I don't really see this being more than a 3-point Pokemon. 1 or 2-point Pokemon. Did it even get... It got Body Press? It did. It could Terra. I think Terra makes it 3 points, I suppose. Like, the bulk is definitely okay. And I think... I was saying before, like, with Lilligant and Exeggutor, you could always go Terra Fire. Like, even though, like, Lilligant obviously can sweep. And go Terra Fire with Terra Access. Like, that makes it pretty good. Meganium, I guess, with Dragon, maybe. But you don't even really have any setup that you can... Oh, you have Swords Dance. So I think Swords Dance, Trailblaze, like a mini Zarude, and then Seed Bomb and Terra Blast with whichever coverage move you want. I don't know what you would run. I was saying, again, Fire was like always the type to go with like Lilligant. I think because Lilligant can go in Sun, so that's like a good combo there, or Exeggutor, but this might work out. I don't know. Yeah, as long as it's not Grass type, then it's probably better. We'll say it's 3 points. Sure. Meowstick. Should we keep these Mon separated, Joey? I don't know. Probably not worth it. It has Prankster. What's the other form have? Competitive. Alright, so both kind of trash. Baton Pass. These mons are probably okay. Light Screen and Reflect, so you can get priority screens up. And you can Terra Fairy or something like that to because Terra Fairy is always good. Maybe Terra Steel might be okay. Terra Fighting might be okay. Terra Fighting might be good to give you coverage to hit Steel types. Has Nasty Plot, and it's over base 100, so like that's not the worst. It's probably better than Meganium. Psychic Noise, Stored Power, Trailblaze. Stored Power, Weakness Palace plus like the ability to boost speed is always like an option to do well, and especially because it also has Terra Access. Yeah, this is probably like in the same point value, 3 or 4 points. Did I miss Lapras? I probably did. I totally skipped over Lapras. I think I was too excited to go from Lanturn to Latias. I can't miss Lapras. Because I heard it might not be ass anymore. But it probably is. Well, people are also saying Dugong got better, and I don't believe it. And I saw the Pokemon in the new move, and I still don't believe it. We got Body Press. Body Press is probably pretty good than Lapras. And it also has heavy-duty boots, which makes it like pretty bulky. With Terra Access, base 130, it seems okay. It seems like it can take hits for a while. And with Water Absorb, you could go into a type that's like electric. I don't know if that makes sense. B could be electric type that's that can absorb water. That sounds cool. Shell Armor can't be struck by a critical hit. Can it curse? It can curse. So you could curse, turn into something that resists ice type, like Fairy. Again, Fairy is always good. Has Dragon Dance. Okay. It had Dragon Dance before. Dragon Dance with Terra Access seems pretty good. Shell Armor to not get crit. Earthquake, I think if it's had in the past. Freeze Dry? Did it have Freeze Dry before? It did. Nothing that special, I guess. I guess for Lapras, I never really used a Pokemon. It was definitely used last generation, though. I don't know why, but people did use it. Icicle Spear. So Icicle Spear always gives you a chance to run loaded dice. Now you got Dragon Dance loaded dice. Icicle Spear. Seems pretty good. Huh? No Scald. No Scald. Serve. That's all fine. Dragon Cheer seems like a weird move in doubles. I don't know if it's actually going to be any good there. Okay. I feel like Lapras was around a 5-point Pokemon last generation. That sound. Earthquake is new. I don't know how... Earthquake is new. Okay, well, there you go. And how Drill Run, so I guess at least had a way to run ground coverage if you really wanted to. I don't know. I feel like it was like 5 points last generation, and it's probably about the same. Maybe better. Maybe we'll make it 6. It has the option also with Hail to have the +1 defense boost. Ice types are... It's nice that ice types are a little bit better now. It has Haze. It probably wants Toxic, though. Not having Toxic is unfortunate. 6 points still seems pretty high. I feel like 5 is fine. But, like... Let's see. Dragon Dance... Earthquake, Icicle Spear. If you run like max, like you're pretty bulky, and you'll be getting the. You're not gonna outspeed a base 115 like Azelf, but 130 HP is going to let you, like, set up at least a little bit. Liquidation. Or you go Terra Blast. You can go Loaded Dice or whatever typing you want to go. What resist water? Grass, but ice hits it. Is there anything that sounds particularly good? I don't know. I feel like Terra Water, just normal, and just have 2 weaknesses. Ice could work. Yeah. Yeah, Lapras seems interesting. 5 points, 6 points. I don't think anything higher than 6. Electric. Yeah, I was saying electric before. That seems okay. And I have Terra Blast access. Okay, I think we're going to be almost done for the day. It has been a while. Metagross. I think Joey's going to get this round 1, right? You also was saying that about Torterra, so I don't know. But Metagross is always cool. Body Press. That seems like a pretty good buff right off the bat right there. It had fighting coverage. It had hammer arm, but it lowers your speed. You don't want to do that. A lot of times you're not running defense EVs in Metagross. You definitely could if you're going to go towards something like this. Does it have iron defense? It does have iron defense. So you could go iron defense, body press. That seems like a pretty cool combination there. Agility. It's had that before. Does it have like stored power? No stored power. So like you can't run agility weakness policy. Which is probably for the better. It'd make it very good. Grass Knot, that's a nice coverage to have. They hit like Swampert, Seismitoad stuff in the past. Heavy Slam is fine. Does it have no Gyro Ball? Or is that a weaker move? It is. Okay. You don't run... I think you run Heavy Slam for the most part anyway. Ice Punch. Knockoff. Did it have Knockoff in the past? It didn't. That's pretty nice versatility to have with Metagross. Being able to hit Psychic type super effectively like that. You don't really have a reliable way to boost your attack, as far as I'm aware. Hone Claws. Okay. Hone Claws into knockoffs. Like you could like take advantage of bulky bulky psychic types, I suppose. But no toxic. Toxic is pretty nice on Metagross. You want to run like more defensive sets. To get light screen and reflect, so you can run screens on it. Screens are always nice. Because removal is not great. Especially it looks like Latios, Latias. None of those Pokemon got Defog. Have we even seen a new Defog Pokemon yet? I don't think so. I mean, we've seen Rapid Spin. So Rapid Spin's going to be easier to use. But yeah, I don't see many Pokemon. I believe Flygon lost Defog. I didn't write that on there. Flygon, did it get Defog? No, it lost Defog. Yeah, so no new Pokemon got Defog. So, like, screens are easier to stay there. I guess their Psychic Fangs is more of a popular move. So you can remove screens if you really wanted to that way. Mixed capability, 95 special attack, can definitely work with the special coverage that it has. You want to run physical most of the time, but it could work. Keep Stealth Rock. Trailblaze seems like a cool option. Steel Beam. Trailblaze still keeps rocks. Don't think anything. Magnet Rise is always a cool move. Meteor Beam is cool. Meteor Beam, like Power Herb. Trailblaze or Agility to get your speed up. You could go special sets for sure. And Steel type seem like they're at a premium. I feel like 14 points. Pretty good. What's up, Hayden? How's it going? Yeah. Metagross looks like it got quite a bit. Did it get Temper Flare? I feel like, how are you gonna piss off this steel type Pokemon? Yeah, I didn't get Temper Flare. That would be pretty crazy if it got fire coverage as well. Weakness policy. Yeah, you would just go agility. It depends. You guys have it 14 in PPL. I was thinking 14 points. Seems pretty solid for Metagross. Around the same tier as Scizor. I feel like it has to be better than Scizor. I don't know. I rate Scizor pretty low. But I think we'll change the tiering of a bunch of these Pokemon in this like 13 to 16 point range, I think. I think 14 sounds like a pretty good value. Where did we have the, what's it, Iron Crown? Now we said that was like in the 14 to 15 point range. I mean, Metagross having Stealth Rock is that's like a pretty big difference. But I don't know, Metagross is like comparable physical and defense compared to special attack. The speed is better on Iron Crown. Having rocks is quite good. And if you're going to go agility on Metagross, like, you're still going to be like quite fast enough at base 70 speed versus 98. This have stored power. This did have stored power. So Iron Crown seems pretty nice in that regard. So Iron Crown is probably a little bit better than Metagross. I don't think it's that much of a difference, though. Because Stealth Rocks is just such nice. Nice move to have. And not having rocks on Iron Crown, like not having rocks on your steel it's a pretty big detriment. Obviously, it has ways around not having rocks to still be a good Pokemon, but not having them is unfortunate. Metang. I don't know, like 3 points. It's probably usable. Does it have a knockoff? It does not have knockoff, so makes it a little bit harder to use. But we can reference like what Metang and like all the lower Pokemon have been in the past and see if there's any reason to move them up or down a point. Probably has pretty similar coverage otherwise. Yeah, Metang might be interesting with Terra Access. Cinccino, we can skip over Minior. I don't know if I've ever seen this thing in a draft league like do anything, but in theory it shouldn't really be that bad. It has good defenses until it gets hit, and then Minior comes in and you sweep with you got Shell Smash based off of 100 attack. I mean, that seems pretty good, right? But like, why don't I ever see it doing anything? And you even have like Acrobatic Stab. It's like basically Hawlucha. What's Hawlucha's? It's even stronger than Hawlucha's +2 Acrobatics. Is Minior? I mean, Hawlucha's not seen as that great of a Pokemon either. It's good, but like Minior, I've seen like at 4 or 5 points, and it's still not really do anything. And so it's just surprising that that's the case. Did it have Earthquake before? I really don't know anything about Minior. It had Earthquake, for sure. Iron Head, Power Gem. I mean, all these moves seem fine. Rock Blast, always go loaded dice option. Scorching Sand's probably not a big deal. Rocks, U-Turn. Meteor Beam, that could always be an option, but you just run Shell Smash, right? I don't know, whatever. I like... Oh, you think you have Boulder at Yeah, we were saying Iron Boulder was pretty high. We were thinking like 17 point. Gouging is top tier. Now I was saying that was 16, 17. I don't know, maybe on paper it didn't seem as great as people were saying that it was. But again, I haven't played any of these Pokemon yet in practice, so it's tough to say. But Photosynthesis is a great ability if you want to get a boost somewhere. You can run Boots. Yeah, it seems pretty interesting. Minior can be whatever, though, 4 or 5 points. Maybe with Terra 6 or 7 with Terra. I don't know. Terra allows you to go more defensive typings, I guess, but it's so weak anyway. Across, there's not, yeah. I mean, we've been going at the stream for quite a while, so maybe we'll cut it off there. I was saying we would go to M, but it looks like we're, there's still quite a bit of Pokemon left. We can do Necrozma, and then I think we'll call it here. I'll stream this tomorrow. Continuation of figuring out the meta. Gotta solve it. I gotta do a little bit better than I did last SPL season. Alright, Necrozma. What do you have? Still have Dragon Dance. That's cool. Still have pretty good coverage. Heat Wave had before. Iron Defense it had before. Knockoff it had before. Does it get stored power? It has stored power. I think it had stored power in the past. So I don't think any of this is new. It has recovery still. It has Photon Geyser. Meteor Beam. Still has Meteor Beam. Great. Does it have Light Screen? It can run screens. Stealth Rock it still has. It looks like it's all the same stuff. And like Necrozma was always good in the past. What did Necrozma wait? Why did Necrozma lose, Ellie? I mean, it lost Toxic, which is quite unfortunate, and I lost Autotomize, right? So it's a little bit harder to sweep with physical attacking sets. Dragon Dance, and it still has Dragon Dance, so that's fine. Yeah, but what else did it lose? It didn't look like it lost a whole lot. Cosmic Power, yeah, that's fair. I feel like all those are not that big deal. Toxic is probably the worst one to lose. Still has Trick Room, Swords Dance. It has Fling, so you can run Fling plus a Big Nugget, in case you didn't know. Charge Beam. Yeah, it still seems good. With like, and the metagame definitely seems more offensive. So like, can Necrozma still keep up? I guess that's my question. I don't know if it does. Like, it was like very good, like 16 points or so. Last generation, not having Toxic or Cosmic Power or like some of the setup stuff is probably unfortunate. Is not a big deal, but it like I don't know if this Pokemon holds up with power creep. Is the main question, and I guess Mew is like in kind of that similar frame. Like bulky psychics like Necrozma, Mew are always good, and you had to make sure you had to have an answer for them. I don't think it's important anymore, just because there's like very offensive mons and like it's harder. Like I guess you can run Boots, but it feels like it's harder for like these bulky psychic types to like actually be as threatening as they have been in the past. So like I don't know if it's good enough for 16. I don't know if it's better than Mew. Mew is like, it's so interesting. I don't know how good Mew is, but like it has insane coverage. It's probably like on the same par as Mew, so probably like 15 points, I would say. What do you guys think? Yeah, you have them in the same tier. Yeah, Prism Armor is still quite good. Like, it's gonna be pretty hard you die to any one attack, and you do have base 127 special attack. So like you're at worst, you're always getting a super hard hit off, and you're probably living 1 if not 2 hits. The special defense is not great. The speed is good enough. It's not 80. If this was like 81 instead of 79, that'd be better. But it's not a big deal. You have like Gardevoir at 80. What else is at 80 speed? That's like a big deal. Probably not a ton. There's a lot at 85 as well. Mamoswine. I guess that's a big deal. You'd want to be faster than that. Chandelure. Chandelure's not that good. It's probably not the biggest deal. But okay. I think that'll be it. At least for today. Man, that was a long stream. But happy we got through a lot of this progress. What is that from? 5 to 96, that's 91 Pokemon. And then 97 down to... So that's like 60. So we're like more than halfway done. And Zekrom obviously is probably not going to be allowed. So we're more than halfway done looking at the new untiered Pokemon at least. But I do know that all of this probably still needs to get changed. And I know other Pokemon got moves. So I think some Pokemon are going to get bumped up. I think we also might consider looking at this list here and seeing if there's any Pokemon that we want to move from this banned area to the not banned area. Maybe we have a couple ideas. We'll see. But thanks very much for watching. It's been a while since I've streamed, so really appreciate everyone's support through all this. 23 viewers, that's great. Yeah. Oh, it tells me here I started at 3:45 and it's 7:35, so 4 hours. Oh wow. I was expecting to go 2 hours and finish this whole list. So that shows how much I know, which is not much. And you guys could also tell I don't know much because I'm going through all this right now. But yeah, I will stream tomorrow, probably at an earlier time because I have plans tomorrow night. But like I'm not working all this week, so maybe like at 10 a.m. or so. I'd probably be like a good time to start. So like, what is that? 3-4 p.m. like East, like Europe time and such. So we'll see. But yeah, wanted to get through this done. I also want to get to playing some OU games and then continuing my my series random battles to the top. So once I go through all the Pokemon I know what they do, then I can continue on the random battles ladder and try to get the top 100. We'll see if we can do that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, later guys.